Hey, Rick. Hey, Ronan. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good, Ronan. And I hope you're not sweating too bad there, Rick. Well, I'm looking at 8 inches of snow. Thank you very much. I got that's good to hear, Ronan. I'm glad to hear it, man. Had a little info I got to tell you there, Rick. I'll spill the beans once we get a few more people here. How you doing, Drip? Good to see you, bud. Cindy, good to see you. You just got back from the pool. You know, Drip. The only pool we're going to be up here is polar bear dipping. Evening, Sonia. Good to see you. So if you want, come on out here over my place here. I'll take you out to the pool there, Drip. They say that cold water is good for you, man. Not gonna say you aren't gonna come out with two belly buttons, but it'll be all right. Italian, good to see you.
Hi, Robert. Hi, chat. Just got home.
Well, good. Hey, thanks for the stream. That was great.
Thank you guys for joining. I got 9 new subs. I appreciate
Awesome.
I appreciate every single one of you that came in. I just wanted to reiterate that again. Thank you.
Well, you inspired me to go live after checking some stuff about the
Okay.
YouTube stuff, and I'll tell. So I'll spill the beans right now, but I was waiting for some more people to show up. But I checked my channel, and as everybody knows, I have active strikes on my channel, so I have to be careful because I only need one more to take it down. Right?
Right.
They've removed all my strikes.
Fuck yeah. Sorry. Fuck yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. With no explanation, the only thing I have left on my channel now is the warning. No strikes. And those weren't supposed to go off until, well, quite a while yet. So, yeah, a little strange. It makes me wonder what's going on here.
No. I cut out because my screen went black and I don't know why.
Phone overheating?
No.
Too much phone
It's
open?
cold here. Not as cold as you, but it's cold here.
I was going to say define cold. Come on now.
It's cold to me, so stop. But yeah, that's suspicious to me, especially with what Gary just told us.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Latina? How you doing, Steve S?
Oh yeah, who am I missing in here? I don't know.
Oh, there's a bunch of people at the moment.
Drip,
I should have
Cindy,
announced that I
Rick.
was going to go live, but I wasn't sure yet. I hadn't made up my mind.
Yeah, Rick, thank you for popping in. Andy. Cindy was in there. You guys are great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm about to head on over to my channel and put my stream private for personal and safety reasons. And Robert, I will tell you in Telegram
Okay. Hey,
who,
question. Do
yeah,
you have your video marked as 18 plus?
I will.
Okay, make sure you do that, because what they'll do is they'll say it was for the swearing. So
Okay. Hi,
I
Melissa's
automatically
Freedom.
make all mine 18 plus. That way they can't use that as an excuse. Hello, Melissa.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Okay. Well, let me hop out of here and go take care of that.
Well,
I will see you all in just a
definitely
what?
come back.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'll be back. So I'll be back. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah, so we were talking about in Italian's stream about how chats have been missing from time to time. You know, not, and the strange thing is not for everybody. And I don't know if people have been paying attention or not, but chats will disappear without any reason. But yet, when I was watching Italian's stream on her phone, where I was putting the chats up, I was seeing comments that I was not seeing in my chat. How you doing, Anna? Good to see you. So that's another strange thing. And we've seen, well, with Gary's We the People 75 stream, we've seen that before. And then, of course, with VIX, they had a whole bunch of weird go on. Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it, Anna? But nothing to worry about. So needless to say, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. That'd be a huge mistake on their part if they did that to me, Latina.
Hi, me again.
Hi, you again. How you doing?
I have got 136 views. I've never had that
Well, awesome.
within the hours that I've been live. Never.
Yep. Hey, Beezy. Good to see you.
Okay, who am I missing on
I agree,
here?
Latina. So anyways, word is that YouTube is going to implement chat censoring starting February 1st. So meaning that, and I don't know if anybody who's a moderator has been noticing that some of the most mundane stuff gets shifted back to, it has to be modded on for it to be posted. Some of the dumbest things, nothing that I would think would be inappropriate. So
Like maybe a curse word or an emoji?
No, not even a curse, not even a curse word. I want to say, oh, there was one I seen on yours just tonight that had to be modded on. That it was like something snow or something. It was nothing. It was totally innocuous.
That's crazy.
All right, you take care, Latina. So it tells me that they're already testing the algorithms to set for certain keywords or whatever, but
well,
really
you
strange.
heard what I was saying to Cactus. It happened. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I have screenshots. I have the receipts, damn it, of stuff that's happened.
Well,
Well, you heard what I was saying to Cactus. It happened. We've seen it. I have screenshots. I have the receipts, damn it, of stuff that's happened. Well,
Well, I've had I back when I was modding for another channel back a while ago. I won't name who, but um, I actually
Someone.
caught YouTube mods in the chat because I tried to ban them
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't ban them. I couldn't even time them out. And finally, after hammering on them, I got one of them to admit that they actually worked at YouTube.
I
And
think I remember you mentioning that once.
yep. And even on Gary's stream, every once in a while, they like to come in and poke at me. They'll take in, if I'm on a stream, they'll just delete one of my comments or a couple of them randomly. And I can see them, but nobody else can. You know,
And that's what you
darkened out.
saw in
Yeah.
my chat.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the same. It's what was happening with me and Cactus, except our stuff wasn't even posting in chat. It wouldn't allow us. On my phone, it said something that I exceeded my limit or something. Like I said, I have the receipts, you know? And I sent them to her so she knows too, and she sent me her receipts. But it's like they've already started the crap.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're testing it for sure. It makes me wonder how dumb it's going to get, but I'm thinking maybe we ought to preemptively start looking for just a separate chat program for the panels. If we're going to live stream or do panels, we'll just have a separate chat program and post a link, and everybody can chat there. They can shove their chat right up there where the sun don't shine. You know?
Well, for Rumble, you have to pay to live stream. I won't use Rumble. First off, I hate that platform.
No. I'm
I
talking about just
absolutely.
strictly some form of chat program. There has to be something out there. I would
Well,
think anyway.
Telegram.
No.
And the
I'm
only
talking
reason.
something. I'm thinking of something along the lines of similar to the way the chat is here.
Oh,
but, thinking of echo. Along the lines of.
Yeah, I turned on my other device so I
Okay.
can see YouTube chat.
Gotcha.
Hi, Gray Pill.
Hey, Gray Pill.
But no, I get what you're saying about another platform to chat openly like this on a panel.
Yeah, and it needs to be something just simple, you know, that doesn't need a bunch of BS or downloading crap or signing up for anything. So,
Well,
I'm going to start looking for that.
Gray Pill just suggested Discord. Now it's another thing you have to download. That's
Yeah,
what
I'm not
that
big
is.
on Discord. I never
Yeah.
have been.
And
Hey, Texas guy.
I honestly wouldn't have downloaded Telegram if it weren't for a friend, to where I had to send a larger file, a larger video.
Yep.
And Telegram was the only one that allowed me to do it.
Yep.
And so, and that's how I found you, Robert. Uwe posted something in LFR, and I saw your name. And so I just clicked on you and added you to my contacts.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did. Hey, how you doing, Zig? Good to see you, bud.
Hello, everybody that I've absolutely missed. I'm sorry. I just totally hyped up from my live tonight at the Cary Lake Save Arizona rally. Sorry, I've privatized it for personal and safety reasons, not because of YouTube. But I am pretty happy that I was able to go and do that for you guys. I had a wonderful chat. It was amazing. I couldn't even get in, but Cary Lake lost, right, you guys?
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah.
Sure, she did.
Yep.
Hey, doing great.
And then someone
going
said, hey, Great Pill. Someone said that Katie Hobbs is in a boot, like something happened to her foot or something. I don't know.
I have no
Hi,
idea.
Gary.
Hey, IP, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well,
Hey,
Robert made me interrupt my taco, so I'm kind of stuffing my face and talking to everybody at the same time.
What? No potatoes?
okay.
I didn't get time to put potatoes in with the meal.
We know Gary loves his potatoes.
It sound like
That's right.
Yeah, it still sound like he eating and talking. Well, I'm gonna speak so you get time to chew, then swallow, then throw some liquids down your throat. Pause.
Copy
No
that.
homo.
I'll just mute the mic here, and so a lot of you don't hear me going. Quack, 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 quack.
I'm sorry. I was raised a little bit differently. I get cringe every time somebody do that. Yeah. So what's up? So Italian, you mentioned a comment about transferring bigger files because I'm pretty much because I have my old phone, so I guess like you could say I'm screen recording some stuff there, and I'm trying to get everything from there, and then I'm gonna save the video there. So I don't know how big the file might be. So I was thinking about just go ahead and email it over as save. So that's a good option. So I never heard of that.
Of using Telegram? Well,
Yeah.
the
Is it a
videos are
website?
probably it's you can download it off your like I don't know what kind of phone you have, but it could be in your Google Play Store or your I don't know what they call it for Apple, but whatever.
All right, I'm
But
looking it
it's
up
in
now.
there. It's and the videos, they weren't huge because it would not allow me to send a video that was over an hour long. So it was smaller
Is
ones,
there
like up to
okay?
10
Is it
minutes.
okay? So this is now this is what I'm saying. You can critique me. So I'm seeing a Telegram app for Google's Play. Then there's another one. It looked like a little white paper airplane then on a blue circle.
I believe so.
Okay, cool. All right.
Because it's currently on the phone that I'm on StreamYard on, so I can't actually look.
Yeah, let me screen share real quick. This is what I have. And
I'm watching on my other device, so.
All right, cool. This is it.
I have a delay. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks like it.
I'm on a phone. I can't see. So if Robert says it looks good, then
Yeah, that looks
we'll
like
go
it to
with
me.
Robert.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but like I said, the videos that I transferred were probably no more than 10 minutes, but
Yeah, mine's less than that, I think. It'll be like 2 minutes, 3.
Yeah, but the kilobytes were too large to send via text and via email. But Telegram allowed me to do it.
That's pretty cool too, because I'm looking at the features. What you could do phone calls too, like via calls.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can do on Telegram. You can make calls. You can usually send a larger file into Telegram. Telegram is a really great app. With certain phones, you can only send a certain amount of data across, like email, text.
Well, you can pay for the premium edition, Gary. There is a
We're talking
premium.
about paying now? Yeah, I'm out.
Well, I'm just saying there is a premium that you can pay to where you're able to send even larger files. I chose not to do that.
Don't give Robert any more ideas because you'll want it sent to his OnlyFans.
Okay. Okay. All right. Would you prefer this over WhatsApp?
I don't use WhatsApp.
Okay, because I
That's
know a
a
lot of people
scam.
I'm not gonna say overseas, but I know a lot of people mostly overseas to communicate with it worldwide. They use WhatsApp. I got a buddy in
It's a scam. It's a platform to scam.
depends on the individual.
It
Yeah.
it does, but that's what it's being used for. See,
Okay.
I had
Um,
someone who was supposedly overseas in the military contact me on Instagram uh to, do those one of those romance schemes, but this guy failed to know that at the time I worked for the DOD. So, I kind of busted him and I turned him in.
Yeah,
I
but do
got
you
his IP address and
uh,
everything.
yeah, I would, and it's just me. I would say it might be a scam if more like a large majority of people falling for the scam versus the larger majority is actually pushing for the scam. I would just say, hey, and this is me. I would just say people just beware of the scam because remember when AOL came out, right? You had like, and this is my experience with AOL because I was like that guru. I had like 10 windows up and I'm going in talking to multiple people. But what would happen?
Private chats.
What would happen, but I wouldn't fall for it was I had a person from somewhere in Africa, some person from an unknown disclosure, and then they gave me this crazy story about how they need all this money. One needed a computer, one needed that. And I'm like, yo, so why you and I'm asking all the dumb questions because I know it's full of shit. Hey, so why you need it? Oh, because well, you can do this. I'm giving like the logical answers. Well, I got to travel this day one and carry a bucket of water and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so
that's what they do. Yeah.
yeah,
So
Scammers.
yeah. But I'm saying though,
exactly.
I'm just making a point of what she's saying. Like when she said WhatsApp is a scam, and I could say AOL was a scam, but AOL was like the biggest thing popping. It just depends on the individual falling for the crap. So if you fall, what they say,
Yeah,
you
I
fall for
did the whole AOL AIM chat room thing
oh
with
yeah,
my dial up. Oh yeah.
yeah, Yahoo, AIM. I was
anyways,
doing my
guys, let's say hello to Donald, Diego. How you guys
hey, there
doing?
you go.
Hi
Donald, the
guys.
master
Down now.
singer, and Diego was
What's
How you doing?
up? Well, I'm really disappointed, but I'll get to that in a second. For the Grey Pill, if you want to send large packets of information, there's a service that I've been using for a while now, and it's free. It's called We Send It.
Who?
We Send It.
Resend it?
We,
Send it?
W-E, We Send It.
Okay, we send it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out right
And
now.
it allows you to transfer several gigabytes at a time. And I've been
All right,
using it forever, so I don't think it's a scam.
all
And
right.
for my disappointment,
Hold on,
I'm a
before you get to
huge.
this point, I got one last question. So because she mentioned premium from Telegram, so is there a free option where I can still transfer the files and connect to people? Do I have to use premium? Italian Princess and what's the other gentleman name?
Oh,
Who's that speaking
Don.
earlier? People, yeah. We the
Yeah,
people
Don and
75.
Diego. Diego's the one speaking before.
Yeah,
Okay.
Diego was the one speaking before that.
Well,
No,
but I don't have any idea what you
no,
can send from
yeah, I was
Telegram.
talking. Yeah, my bad. It was people 75 and Italian because y'all was talking about the Telegram. So do I have to use the premium
No, you
to?
don't.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm good. Back to your disappointment, sir.
Well, my 49ers lost.
That's it.
Oh, too bad. It's the end of the
That's
world
it.
as we know it.
Yeah. On that note, I'm gonna drop down.
All right, Gray, you have a good one, guy.
All right, man. I'll be in the clouds.
All right, take care, man.
Yeah, Diego, find somebody to hug you, bro. Preferably not a man.
Uma vez? Cheers.
If you want to put that link to that, we send it for him in the chat, Diego. You can go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Give me a second to find it. Shouldn't take long.
Anyways, to give people that showed up an update, all of my channel strikes have magically been removed.
Oh, hold on a minute there, Robert. Did you actually send them the link to your OnlyFans? That's probably why they're gone. They're like, oh, don't send us anymore. We'll take away your strikes.
So, speaking of the censorship coming to the chat and what we've been seeing, I was quite dumbfounded when I went to pull up my panel today and seen that those had been removed. The only thing I have left on my channel is a warning. So, quite strange, all things considered. So, makes you really wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Is there a power fight going on where you have one side not censoring, one side is? Who knows? But
Well, you
thought
know
that
what
was
happened
weird.
to
No,
my
they didn't say
channel?
why, Brian. They did not say why.
This happened to me. Remember?
Yeah. That's why I said it's quite weird. But they removed both of mine.
And
I
we,
was
the
one
people
strike
and
away from being
everybody
banned.
else, on this planet tried to get my channel taken down, and it didn't happen. And then I had 2 strikes, and suddenly I decided to,
Roll
you
the
know,
dice.
well, I decided to tell them, hey, you have no reason for challenging them, and then one of my strikes got removed after I had 2 programs that I swear to God would have taken anybody down 2 months ago.
Right.
So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So that's why I named the stream "Strange Days." Trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh, I put the link in the chat, by the way.
Pardon?
The link to We Send It, I put it in the chat.
All right, thanks. Morning, Steve. So I have, if YouTube's testing out a new censorship thing in the chats, it makes me wonder what they got up their sleeve, because I find it very hard to believe that they're going to let a channel like mine or Diego's or anything similar just to let it, slide by. They ain't gonna like that one bit.
Yeah, I'm afraid of.
But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, that's the stranger part of seeing what is really actually going to be happening, because I mean, I've had it in my channels that people said, well, my messages are disappearing, and it's like, well, it's not on my side, that's for sure. I don't censor anybody unless you're a complete idiot that you got yourself censored. But for the most part, I haven't been touching anybody's message from being deleted. So there's definitely something that has been kind of going on with the changes that they have been doing.
Yeah, there's something going on that I've heard from several fronts, and mainly to do with chat. And YouTube is banning people from chats. I don't know what that new thing is, but they're doing it, and I've heard it from several people.
And the way it sounds like, it's going to be a chat bot. So, I don't know anything more than that. The only thing that I heard, hello, Tracy's Nature, that beginning in February, whenever that is, I have no idea, but that is supposedly when it's going to happen, is around February. So hard to say what is going to happen thereafter that.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody's been noticing, but even the some of the chats that get flagged that have to be modded up to be shown have been just for nothing. There's nothing there that should have been flagged.
Right.
So it makes me wonder what exactly they're doing with this stuff in the algorithms, what they're keying on, because if they're going to do the same thing that they're doing with some of these chats that they're hiding, chat's going to be useless.
Right. You're
You know.
almost probably better off streaming without a live chat, even though people like to interact with everybody. And, you know, I get that. I've seen the results on it, and I definitely know a lot of people like to respond to people that are in the chat or the one that is actually live streaming. So if they end up doing that where they have bots in there, it's almost going to make it impossible, and it could possibly make it where subscribers unsubscribe to that channel.
Yeah, well, from what I hear, the channel itself is not affected. It's actually the person, whoever, I don't know what they're typing into the chat, but they're getting chat banned, and for no apparent reason.
Well, and here's the thing: it's just like Donald's channel. You know, even when he's doing his music stuff, are they going to be censoring totally innocent type stuff? I mean, that's what I'm seeing already with normal chats.
Well, the thing is, whenever Google implements a new algorithm, it's bound to be iffy at best. So maybe they're testing something and then fine-tuning it. I don't know.
I've not had a copyright strike for any music that I've ever done, and there's a lot. I mean, I don't know how many videos on my channel now, but there's more than 500 on there, and I've never had a copyright strike. I did get something from them, from the copyright people, when I first started out, saying that if that they were happy to leave a material on if I would allow them to put an advert on my channel, and so I just agreed to it. And you know, because everyone gets adverts on the channel, you know, so I'm really sick of adverts on.
Well,
everything.
the other thing too, you have to remember different laws in different countries.
But
indeed.
my question is your channel live?
My channel is live, yeah, usually but there's a lot of videos in there that weren't live. There is some that were pre-recorded, you know, they're not all live, you know.
Yeah, I think what's happening right now is pretty much condensed to the live channels.
Yeah, that could be. You might be right there, Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all I'm hearing. I mean, and I'm hearing it from at least 5 different sources.
Well,
and that could very well be true, because I'm one of those people that does live stream, and that's anywhere between an hour to almost a full 12-hour day.
Hmm.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm just a little. I mean, I'm glad they pulled the strikes off my channel, but it makes me wonder what they've got going on up their sleeve. You know, as they say, never look the gift horse in the mouth, but in the same token, in this case, where it's more like dealing with the devil. So, and the devil always gets their due in this case, and that's what I'm wondering what they got going on here.
Well, guys, at 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna head off and get some sleep.
All right, Donald, you have a good one, buddy.
Good night, Donald. You had a good live stream tonight.
Right, thanks very much. All the best. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers.
Have a good one.
Right, cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, there's obviously something happening, and there have been so many rumors going around, but they're just rumors. But I think YouTube is kind of scared.
You know, and that makes me wonder if they're not afraid of maybe, shall we say, in a change here coming.
To a future near you.
And yes, Brian, I did dispute them, but they denied them. One they denied within like 30 seconds, and the other one it took them about a day to deny it. So yeah, my disputes were denied.
Well, you remember what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Within 20 seconds, one of them was just an email saying, "You're full of it, and this stands." And then the next day, I had,
Yeah.
and without an email, by the way, by chance, I went into my studio, and then I went, "Oh, whoa! That took one of my strikes off."
Yeah, well, both of mine are gone. The only thing I have is the warning now from back in August. So
Well,
Yeah,
now I'm going to have to send YouTube an email saying, "Why this guy and not me?"
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen stuff on other channels that even right now I wouldn't dare say, because I really would have been of the mind that that would be enough to take my channel down. But yet, I see them flying under the radar, no problem.
The two streams I had after that, when I made an attempt to take my channel down, I
Yeah.
mean, can you get any worse?
Right.
Yeah, and that's what makes no
Indeed.
sense. I mean, it is absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Diego, have you found out how many days that's been up there yet?
What's that?
Sorry,
That
repeat that for me, please.
Diego, that night when you did that no holds barred, have you checked to see how many days that's still been up yet?
I haven't, but I can do that in a second. Give me a second.
How you doing, Zero TV Squad? Good to see you. Well, it's just like that screenshot I showed you, Gary, about some of my chats being just blacked out.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, that's the kind of screwy shit you see going on. So, you know, maybe it's a thing that there's still a few employees maybe not following company policy, possibly.
That could very well be
just catching up to it. Who knows? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me, but it still doesn't change the fact that there's nothing about any of this that makes any sense.
Right. I don't think a lot of things that end up happening make a lot of sense. They just, it's just my opinion, they just don't.
Well, how
Okay,
are you
so
supposed to know?
the first one I did was December 7th. The second one was December 13th.
Yeah, and you had a second one after that too.
Yep, he did. I remember that. And funny, they have not done anything to it yet.
No, and the second one was way worse than the first one.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I had Grey Wolf on, and he was just opening up about the whole medical thing. I mean, he just went berserk, and I'm going, "Yep, this is it." And no,
Yeah, it's nuts. But therein lies the problem now. How do you know what is allowable and what isn't? You know, they say community guidelines. Well, define them then. You know.
but we already know that they're not going to define anything. But
Well, I know, but Just,
but
just
Unfortunately, unfortunately, when it comes to the platform, because I'm just going to use it as that, so that they can sit there and say whatever platform that may be. But for the most part, it's their house rules, and that's all they figure it. If they didn't like something on there, they could just snap their fingers, click of a quick click of the mouse, and boom, there you go.
But it makes no sense, and Robert has a point, because remember, Dr. Lock 'em all up. That
Right.
had that has gotten so many streams shut down. It's not even funny, and then suddenly, it's no longer a problem. I mean, you have to ask yourself, what changed?
well,
I
and the
would
other
put it
thing
in
too-
another words there, Diego, is like, who got stupid?
Well, here's the other thing too. They're not being consistent across the who and what's that they're doing this to. Now, is it possible that they're actually targeting people who they would consider conservative? Um, we already know that's certainly the case, but they'll never admit that.
No.
And is this just an attempt to try and, shall we say, muddy the waters a little?
That could definitely be, I don't know. That can go so many different ways.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I agree with that. That's a really difficult question to answer. But honestly, I think something happened within the organization, their organization, that is, where they said, take the foot off the pedal. Now you can guess why they would do that. I have no idea.
There's always, in my opinion, a lot of unanswered questions that, with a lot of the things that we do, especially with the platform. I mean, obviously they're changing things. The last update that I had was last week. But how many updates have they done since then? And not to mention, believe it or not, I did notice a different update when Donald was live, and the way how they changed the top chat and live chat. It's now like the symbol, like a resistor or a ground, where it's got three little lines that kind of stroll down. So there's changes already that I'm already finding in the platform already.
Well, and that's exactly part of what I'm speaking of there, Gary. The community guidelines things change day by day.
Right.
They aren't defined. They keep them as vague as hell. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that they definitely target certain, shall we say, people of a political persuasion. And an ideology too, for sure. Even if they aren't conservative per se, a certain ideology, I would imagine they're doing too. But
Right.
I do think that possibly the reason that they're doing this, like with Diego's thing and my thing now, is I think they're muddying the waters, because if they lose the 230 protections, they're open for all kinds of shit. And if you can prove discrimination because of politics or religion, yeah, that's slam dunk. It's just not allowable online, their platform or not. It makes no difference. It's no different than walking into a brick and mortar store and have them doing the same thing.
The one thing I guess I got to add to that, Robert, is if they lighten up on what they're doing under that number, I'm only going to say that number. But for the most part, if they can all of a sudden, let's say, if by chance they go in front of the house and they say, oh, we've been doing that nonstop. And if they ever request somebody that basically let all balls out to the walls, they're kind of trying to cover their tracks right away.
Yeah.
But if people actually screenshotted, if they got booted from their channel or anything of that nature, they could easily send that to their House representative and say, under that number, with this platform, my rights under this section were violated. And I think the platform is basically trying to cover their butt right now while they still got a chance to, because once that number gets brought in front of the House, I think it's either going to be a win or it's going to be a loss for the platform, because I think the platform is just trying to cover their butt right about now.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
there is that possibility, and then consider this another possibility. There've been rumors going around for quite some time now, and I think they're substantiated, that Elon wants to start a YouTube type platform, and he has said for a long time that he wants to pay content creators, unlike YouTube. And maybe that has something to do with it.
If Elon would do that, and here's the only catcher here, Diego. Now, I stream right now currently. If I'm doing a panel, I'm streaming to 5 channels. 2 of them are Twitter. 2 of them are Twitter. 1 is Twitch, and normally the other 2 are YouTube. But it's usually hard to get people off of YouTube, because YouTube, everyone goes to YouTube for everything. Now, if Elon makes it easy where you stream on his platform, and he doesn't change the streaming key or the pass key all the time, and you can get more people over onto Elon and get them off of actually YouTube, I'm all for it. But it's very hard to get people off of one platform that they depend on very, very, very highly.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And Rumble had their chance, and they didn't do anything about it. But I think the quotas that Elon has, maybe just better.
But, even Elon, getting into the streaming business or some sort of a platform like that, you can tell he's going to have to start out in a beta plan or a beta, and then basically like an engine, fine tune it here and there, maybe put a turbo in it. Hopefully you don't put nitrous behind that turbo in there right away, because otherwise something's just going to probably go down. But eventually anybody that builds a platform, eventually, will get the bugs worked out. Will it actually be competitive with the platform? Only time will tell.
I think if Elon does it, the timeline will be much, much shorter than other platforms.
I agree with that. If he really, really, really decides to do that, yeah, the timeline will be way shorter.
And the quality of the service will probably be much higher for sure. Because he's not, by his very personality, he has expectations, and he usually gets to people that will meet them. So.
And of course, there was the talk too that Elon was thinking about buying the platform outright. So who knows?
No, but that's not going to happen.
No.
To buy YouTube, you have to buy Google, and not
Right.
even Elon has that kind of money.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if Elon didn't go for Rumble and change that.
That's a very strong possibility. I never thought
I
about
hadn't
Rumble.
thought about that. Very possible.
I mean, that's not a rumor I heard. I just made that up, but it
Well, I
makes
know,
sense.
but it makes sense. Makes absolute
It's a good
sense.
point, though. It's a very good point, though, Diego. I have to admit that. But if he does do that, because otherwise I would be streaming to Rumble if they didn't change their pass key every single time, and that's why like Fry and many others have said Rumble is a fumble. If they can get it where you just do a one stream link and not worry about that, I would be all for it. I'd be actually on Rumble, but I'm just not on Rumble.
I mean, it would be a cheap company to buy. I mean, cheap. I don't know how many millions they're worth, but we're not talking about billions here. So he definitely has the money.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, and the thing is, Rumble, in my opinion, the whole layout still is just way too clunky. I mean, it's not intuitive. It's just too clunky.
It's horrible. Are you kidding me? They can't even come up with a black background. Really?
Well, yeah. That and the chats, the home screen that you're faced with is a global, not a tailored, which I understand is not something easy to implement. But it just seems to me that there's a lot of things that need to be done that's lacking before they do anything else. It's like they just slapped a bunch of things together, and let's see if it works. Now, granted, yes, they are making improvements, but one, I think they need the user experience to improve before anything else. Quit worrying about adding features.
They had 2 years to do something about this. Not having moderators is one thing. Not having a black background is another. It's so simple to do.
Yeah, for sure, Zig. I agree with you on that. Well, yeah, and I don't, I agree with you, Diego. But I think there's a lot more to it than just the way they're focused. To me, seems a little off.
Right, which would make perfect sense for Elon to come in and buy that company and put in his coders. By the way, these coders put things into space.
Right. Well, let's see what he does with Twitter. I have a feeling that he isn't done there. I'm thinking he's just doing the politics thing at the moment as a big, shove it up your ass guys type thing, because he's at least one of the people who has enough money to do that. But I wouldn't be a bit shocked to see him make some changes to that platform that may include what we're talking about.
And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. And whether he buys Rumble or not, even if he creates his own platform, it's going to be part of Twitter, for sure, because he has to monetize somehow, and that would be a perfect way to monetize it. Come on.
Well, it would certainly up his base rate quick.
Yeah, because of adding on a sister company. Overall, yeah, it would definitely help him out. Plus, then maybe even tax-wise, he's got a lot of tons of write-offs he can definitely do on there.
I don't know.
I'm not so sure he's worried about taxes, to be honest.
But I'm just saying, in order to get, if he ends up buying Rumble, and adds it to part of like a sister company like the Twitter for streaming, kind of like Google and the platform, that'll pay off in the long run. It will.
Yeah, the only thing I know for sure is that he said, and I can't quote because I can't remember the exact quote, but he said in a sense that it's ridiculous that content creators are charged so much. I want to have a platform where they can actually make some money. If that doesn't say anything, I don't know what does.
And since we're kind of getting on that part,
And the thing of it is, what they've done on YouTube, how many thousands or tens of thousands or even millions of accounts are just small accounts like mine or Diego's or we the people's. I mean, they're not, you ain't got half a million subscribers or 1 million subscribers. And like on my content, even if I go to my own content, they're showing ads on my stuff. Okay, that's monetary value to them, but not for me.
right?
So, if you weigh out the differences in what they're making there, just on that alone, granted it isn't a big drop in the bucket, but all those little drops do add up.
Yeah, but don't forget, if he does what was hinted, then you're going to have the freedom to speak.
Correct.
And that is priceless.
Yeah, and that's what I think. If he were to do that, or even offer something like that, I don't think he would have a hard time seeing people migrate over. And as far as the advertisers go, if they want eyeballs, guess what they're going to have to do? So
Pay it up.
I've got to believe, even at the moment with what's going on, YouTube has put a damper on some of that for the advertising. I'm sure that there's more than one company that has looked at moving elsewhere, or at least, expanding their horizons, so we say.
Well, the one thing I need to add with the pay and all that, I don't remember if it was like last week sometime when Tommy was there and looking at the analytics of everything, and he was like, "Oh, when I get done live streaming, I probably barely made even 22 cents. 22 cents for as long as Tommy has been live streaming, for a day, and only gets 22 cents off of one video." That's just outright ridiculous, because they can turn around YouTube. They might put ads on before you look at the video, and then they put ads in between there, because I've definitely had that happen. And after a while, it's like, the only time I can really watch Tommy is if he's live, because it's definitely live and it's ad free. But where do you get time to actually watch everybody stream through when you've got other people like, me, I help support? So it's like I got to jump around from channel to channel to channel to channel, and then miss out on things. And then when I come back to it, it's filled up with ads. So YouTube or the ads are getting paid instead of the actual creator, for the content you really want to watch.
Yep. Well, and I'll tell you, live streams are no longer a safe place either there, Gary.
Right.
I've been on live streams where there's ads that popped up right in the middle of the damn live streams.
Yep.
So
I mean, look at streams like Crowder. He pretty much at the end of every live stream tells YouTube to fuck off. Literally, he literally says this, and I think the only reason why he's still on there is because YouTube is making so much money off him.
yeah,
They don't want him to leave.
Are you talking about Steven Crowder?
Yes, that's the same person.
You also got to remember, Crowder sued YouTube because he got a strike. He actually had his channel taken down off of YouTube, but he took YouTube to court and won. So you better believe it. YouTube is going to kiss his butt because they lost that court case.
Well, and it makes me wonder if digging into the details of that wouldn't be worthwhile. That might be why they're removing strikes that just seem, out of nowhere, just for that very reason.
Could very well be.
Well, I mean, let's also remember that Steven Crowder has been demonetized from YouTube for about 3 years now.
Yeah. How much money have they made off him from that? Great.
Yeah.
Billions.
It's all about money. So let's assume there's another platform, and he decides to go, oh, you know what? Screw you, I'm leaving. And they're not going to be very happy about that.
No, because if they're making him if it's helping YouTube make millions a day, yeah, they're gonna, because believe it or not, the more bigger you get on a channel, the more help you get from YouTube, because they're making money off of you. And I know some people that are up there, they got probably 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K subs. You know dang well they're actually getting paid pretty good. Now, for somebody like me that doesn't collect it, I mean, I'm not getting paid for any of it. And like Tommy, Tommy has been on the live stream for quite a long time, but only getting like, let's say maybe 22 cents for one live stream. It's outright ridiculous.
And then it is ridiculous, Gary. And I guess that's the big rub there. We are actually at the point of absurdity when it comes to even guessing what's acceptable, what's their guidelines, what's their standards, or anything. Which is a problem. It's like this stream here. I know I'm going to take this one down just for the mere fact that we may discuss something that pisses in their Wheaties, for all I know. Just for the mere fact that I want to still have the ability to be able to do the things that I do. But where does the line stop?
Well, I'm not so sure you need to take this down. I think at least the past 2 months have shown that you can get away with a lot, and I don't think anything on your stream has crossed the line even close.
Well, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is it leaves they leave it so it becomes a guessing game. So people end up self-censoring anyway. And that's
I haven't taken my streams down.
I know.
They're still up.
Which just blows my mind.
Okay. Mind blown.
I don't get how any of that wouldn't, if that were something that we were to do daily on a basis and it wasn't a problem, then yeah, okay, so there we go. But yet I still see people getting strikes for so-called medical misinformation, so-called political misinformation, or anything, just on a whim. There's no rhyme nor reason. You know, so and like I said, well, your videos alone are testament to that, Diego. You couldn't get any more
Borderline.
border. Well, no, we went way the hell over
Borderline.
that. We way over that.
Borderline. Seriously?
I had to do it.
We jumped the bridge.
I just had to do it.
How you doing,
I
big
had to
guy?
do it to Diego. I just had to. I had to hear a rile out of him.
Yeah, and you're correct, Latina cult culture. Absolutely. You know, and that's see, that's what pisses me off about this, and that's one of the reasons why I fired this up, just because I was seeing in Italian Princess's chat with the comments, you know, not showing up for everybody, yet for some people. Which makes no sense. Does that mean that they're going to tailor their censorship for each individual? That's insane.
Does that mean I'm untouchable? And why?
Well,
There's the rub.
before you answer that, Robert, look at how many people, believe it or not, that probably could be working that's actually watching these live streams. Now, I would imagine they probably got like maybe a floor, 2 floors, or 3 floors where people are constantly, that's all they do all day is watch live streams. Could somebody come back one day and all of a sudden say, well, yeah, this live stream here, it's got this in here, but now that the rules have changed because of a certain number, now we just overlook it? Or do we let an algorithm go through your stream and catch everything, and next thing you know, boom, there's the notification from the platform?
But I had, well,
I know, but you haven't.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like Robert said, there's no rhyme or reason.
You know, it's like right now, I know for a fact the stuff that we discussed on Diego's, especially that one I was on, we didn't hold anything back. Absolutely nothing. And I wholeheartedly expected that one to be the last straw. I really did. I know if I were to do that on my channel, I would delete that ASAP. But there you go. Still sitting out there loud and proud.
Yep.
Loud and proud with one less strike.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And you know, the other thing I got to add for when Diego did that first one where it was basically no holds barred, nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever seen me completely unglued ever. As long as I've been on people's panels or even my own channels, have never seen me ever unglued. That was the first time on Diego's that, I mean, I let it all out like it is.
And you and I are both a failure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Diego.
No, and then I went out for a second round, and then we came in with Grey Wolf with all the medical disinformation. I mean, all of it. I don't know if both of you watched it, but all of it. And it should have been lights out. And whoa, nothing happened.
Well, I don't know. Latina, yeah, I can believe that. That would not shock me one bit in the least that that's what's going on. You know, and it's just, well, example, the Veritas thing that come out just recently. that was posted up. They took down one of their videos, give them a strike for it. But yet the ones that are still up, I know of a person who did a clip from that, talked about it, and got a strike for it. Even though, like when I did before, when I got a strike for a news clip that I played, that's still on YouTube, mind you. Same thing with them. They got a strike for content that is still on YouTube. But yet now I pop in today and my strikes are removed. Huh. Well, what about my damn videos then that they deleted? How about that? Do I get to throw them back up now?
You know,
It's just-
at this point, I mean, I don't know if when I'm going to have a panel again, but when I do, I am not censoring a darn thing. That's just my position now, and let the dice roll.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. I mean, I try to be as uncensored as I possibly can, but I do know that there's certain topics and subjects that
Like what? Like what? What's
Well-
left?
That's the thing, though. But when do we know what trips the trigger and what doesn't? Depending on which channel you're on at that point in time, or maybe it's just the person who happens to review it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not. Oh,
Well, like I said,
okay.
your
So-
videos
so-
alone, there's no doubt about that. The ones you that are still up on yours, in my opinion, if I were to do that, I would expect to have a big old thing saying that you've gotten a strike and they've taken your video down the next day. I would expect it. So as you said, no rhyme nor reason. You know, especially if you speak about anything about the elections or COVID or anything along those lines, or alluding to the fact that you know, maybe things aren't as they seem, or hell, even citing published documents that are peer reviewed can get you hit if they don't follow the narrative. Well, whatever their narrative happens to be at this moment, I guess.
Well, I guess the one thing I want to say is because, okay, for their guidelines, believe it or not, before you agree, you know, if you're going to go live stream, you get this big old list. I mean, it's a honking huge list. Is that what they basically go off of? Okay, under these guidelines, before you even remotely go live, that we just normally bypass, we hit okay and agree to, or is that mainly the outlines that we're supposed to follow, that we only get one chance to go off of? If we break those rules, all of a sudden, boom, just like that, they kick us off?
You're asking the wrong person, Gary.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, hypothetically, just think hypothetically.
Obviously not. And it may be on a case-to-case basis, and I have no idea how they figure out which case is which case.
Right.
I mean, come on. I went out of my way, literally, to take my channel down. And I couldn't do it.
Maybe that was the line there, though, Diego. Maybe that was
One that got let through, maybe.
well, I'm just saying that in Diego's case, his give a fuck didn't give a fuck. So in his case, it really doesn't do any damage to him. It doesn't. shall we say, it doesn't change what he's going to do or his behavior. So maybe in that case, they just said, well, it ain't really worth doing anything because he don't give a damn anyway. I'd find that very hard to believe, but I've seen stranger shit happen on YouTube lately, so it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, that makes no sense either. Sorry.
Well, I'm not disagreeing. It makes no sense, but there's nothing about what's going on that makes no damn sense. You know, like you're getting your strike removed, mine being removed after appeals are denied and things like that. You know, I just don't. If you're going to, you know, granted, yeah, hey, great. I'm out of the woods at the moment to have my channel removed. But in the same token, it still leaves you wondering what the F is going on. But I don't know. I'm gonna, you know, I'm all for pushing limits, so I guess I'll start pushing some more and see what happens. You know, but like, I wouldn't go on to Gary's channel and do that. And I wouldn't go on to yours, Diego, unless you said, hey, this is what we're doing. I was, all right, well, cool. As long as the channel operator is cool with it, whoever owns the channel is cool with it, fine with me. Let's go for it. It just makes it still makes me a little
Uneasy.
sleeve. You know, as I said, it's like getting a gift from the devil.
Oh, no way. Hold on a second. Oh, that they took away my second strike.
Looks like Diego is going to be balls to the wall again.
Oh, man.
I am left with a warning.
Yep, same here.
Oh, I just thought about, you know, because I haven't checked for a while. No way. Let me make sure. Studio. Yep. They took away my second strike. I'm left with a warning. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah, I can actually at the moment, all things considered. That is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, Anna, that is setting up for the kill. That's what makes me wonder. But I mean, that's no big. It really wouldn't chap my ass, and I just move on, and do something again anyway. But
Well, that was my entire deal. That's why I said, hey, they want to take my channel down. Well, it's going to be on my terms. Fine. And then that didn't happen. Now I don't have any strikes left. Just a warning, which I guess expires at some point. Don't have that open right now. Let me take a look. I think warnings expire after a certain date. Let's see here. I gotta go back in here. Warning there. Warning. Your content was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines. Because it's the first time, your account isn't affected. You're only warned once, and this warning will remain on your channel. And doesn't tell me when it expires, but it's supposed to expire at some point. I mean, that's crazy. I get 2 strikes for restreaming another stream that was streamed to 3 different channels, and nobody got a strike. Now my strikes are gone.
Yeah, imagine that.
I mean, I mean, really.
How you doing, Alice? Yes, I'm awake this time. Oh boy. Well, I guess from here on out, maybe I guess I'll just turn it up a little bit, see what happens. That
You know what? I haven't had the stream in a while, but I'm no longer censoring anything.
Does
I
that
mean-
mean, Diego, you'll be on next weekend? I'm making his mind wander.
Well, maybe I may be on during the week. I don't know. I really hadn't planned anything, but now with this new information, I'm certainly considering it. And man, I mean, I didn't give a shit before. Why should I give a shit now?
I don't disagree with you on that one, Diego. How you doing, Alice?
It's good to hear you're awake.
Yes, I'm awake for this one. Thank you.
And Diego, I've been testing the algorithm. I've been letting people just say whatever, and I've been just talking normal, and they haven't hit me. So I don't think they've clamped down on it yet. As far as restreaming others people's content, it could be someone that you restream reported your stream. Okay. So you have to be careful with
yeah,
that.
Robert.
That was the original thing that I thought too, where somebody just reported my channel. I thought that as well, and it may still be true, but after appealing both and being denied the first in 20 seconds, I had an email saying no, that stands, and then the next day they removed one, and now I don't know how long it took because I really haven't checked. Now I find out they removed the second. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, do you know any of the people that you restreamed?
Of course I
Is there a-
do.
Okay,
Of course I
it-
do. This was a setup, a restream setup. I've been restreaming Grey Wolf since the day he started his walk.
Okay. Well, you could find out you could like email YouTube and be like, well, what did they hit you with a strike on exactly? Was it copyright?
Medical disinformation.
Okay, were they talking about a hot button subject that's going on right now?
No, and that's just the thing. You got to understand that same stream went out to actually 4 different YouTube channels, and none of them got a strike. Only me.
Okay. So was it old material they were talking about, like old medical material?
No, they weren't talking about medical stuff at all. That was a weird thing.
Okay, it wasn't anything medical.
Not a thing.
Yeah, because they tried to hit me with one of those, right? And I found a way to get out of it. And it's basically anytime that you're going over content, always have the website that you get it from, have that handy. And make sure that you're doing old content, then it's historical documentation. All right. So it's like I don't touch on. I haven't been trying to touch on the like what's going on now because I wait a little while, and that way it's historical stuff. Okay, when we jump on board with something that's going on right now, and then later on they say, "Oh, this isn't true," blah blah blah. You know how they do. They'll say, "Well, that's medical misinformation," but for them to hit you with medical misinformation, I would like email them and ask them, could you direct me to the medical information that I presented? Because I am not sure that if you're going to give me this strike, I need a better understanding of what are you considering medical misinformation, and see if they get back with you. Because when I put my appeal in for my medical misinformation, I gave them like the website, whatever they were talking about. Go do some like find out what they were talking about, where they got the information, right? Get where they got the information from, and then add that to your appeal, and that'll help like get the strike off. Is what I'm finding. As long as we have where the information came from and everything else, they can't hit us. But what they're doing is trying to slow the information down. Okay. So if you restream somebody else's stuff that was restreaming someone else, that's kind of strange because people do that all the time. So are there a new standard? I'm wondering. Can we not restream other people's stuff?
Well,
yeah, I think you may have come in a little late, but understand that I just figured out that they removed both of my strikes without sending me an email or anything. But okay.
That's what they did with mine, and then they won't even let you read what you wrote. It just disappeared like it never happened, right?
It never happened. Correct.
For the most part, when I restream somebody on my live streams, it's usually for good intentions. It's never for the drama or anything like that, because I don't deal with drama in my chats whatsoever. But for the most part, there's a few people that I definitely restream because I'm trying to help promote their channels. But with what the platform has done to like maybe Diego or Lead Guitar Man or anybody else that might have got something because of a so-called thing that picked up an algorithm, it's, I don't know, the platform, they just tend to make the rules as they see fit, and that's about how it goes.
Well, that's exactly
Alice, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my channel.
Yeah, you might want to explain that a little deeper there, Diego.
No, I was asking Alice if she knows about
Well,
my
I
channel.
haven't checked out. I'll check out your content. Like,
okay,
what I do is
never mind. Let me tell you something. No, you know what? I'm gonna tell We the People to tell you the last 2 streams I had after I got the 2 strikes. We the People, go, Gary.
So basically, the first panel that Diego did, basically he already had 2 strikes as it was. So he was going to go out on his terms, and basically it was a no holds barred. So we put out everything from misinformation, etc., 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 that normally YouTube would definitely, the algorithms or anything that they had during his live stream should have caught and definitely took out his live stream. Apparently, excuse me, that night after we got done, we figured, all right, give it a couple hours. And all of a sudden I checked the next day. Believe it or not, that video, which is still currently on Diego's list of discussions is still on there yet. So then about a week later, Diego, was surprised, and we figured, well, this should be the finishing nail into the coffin, we shall say. And believe it or not, that video itself is also still currently on. So if you've not seen Diego's last few videos, I definitely would suggest check them out, Alice. Normally, like I said, I normally don't ever come uncuffed in anybody's chat. I respect their chat as if I'm talking to a customer in person as a businessman. And believe it or not, for that discussion, and maybe one other than what Diego's too, that I ever came unglued. So you definitely have to check out that link. If somebody can post that link into the chat, so they can know exactly where that link is at, and they can definitely check it out, and definitely you can make your own judgment on that discussion.
Okay, so Diego's doing what I'm doing. I've been trying to figure where the line is, okay? Like all last year I kept getting strikes. So I'm like, I will get close to the line. Where they have these lines, the invisible
Right.
line I like to call, and you have to push it just to see how far you can go. Like that's
Oh
what
no. I wasn't looking for the line. I was looking to go over the line. And I did that in
and
2
they let you.
videos.
And they let you.
Yeah, they did. They literally let him cross over the line 5 times,
And
and
it kept
still there.
dancing. And it kept
And
dancing.
it's still dancing. And it's still dancing. I don't even know how many views to this point. Diego looked at it before. Diego, how those views gone up since that discussion came out?
What I
Oh, that's-
find is when we do cross the line, what they'll do is they'll throttle the views. Okay, so it's like they'll let us go across it, and when you get across it, they'll either just going to shut you down or they're just going to let it sit there for a while. But what happened last year is because I touched over the line so many times, they took my channel down, went through it like they were the IRS or some shit, did a complete audit, and then they gave me my channel back. I'm like, I'm just a rambling American. I don't know what y'all's problem is, but I let them know that I'm a tinfoil hat committee. I put it on my channel. I'm a rambling American. Watch at your own risk, stuff like that. But just keep an eye on that one. If it is that controversial, see how long it lasts. Because I'm gonna check it out.
It's been on there for months already.
what did I say? December 14th, Gary?
Yes.
Because I still don't know which community the standards are for. Have y'all figured out which community?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. When you figure it out, let me know.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
definitely come
y'all
on
are
back
about
to
on
the
the
panel
same
and let them
page.
know.
So y'all are on the same page as me, trying to figure out which community these standards are for, right? Because I don't know anymore.
It just seems like after a while, when you get onto YouTube, they give you like this whole list that you got to agree to of their community standards. But, like I said, do we take the time, like any other fine print that might be on the back of a contract? Are we going to actually sit there and read the whole contract before we actually sign it? Some will, some won't. Some just like, oh, well, I want to start live streaming and I'm going to bypass the community guidelines and not even actually look at it.
Nobody does.
Exactly.
It's like agreeing to new terms on iTunes.
Right.
Well, if you do take time to read it, what you find is it's selective. They're controlling your speech. Okay, it's all about like redirecting our speech. Because when I read it, I was like, God, this is like, I did take time to read it, and there's like so many contradictions in there. Like they
Yep.
want to be inclusive, as they call it, but it's seclusive if it's certain types of people. It's like it's almost like segregated speech. If you remember, like when we get violations, it kind of reminds me of the Majority Report. We're being scrutinized for our opinion and our thought. Okay, because when we're speaking, we're just speaking our opinion. If it is factual, we'll give information to prove those facts. But they much rather us speaking on our emotions, because the algorithm, I found, depending on, like, if you do some drama stuff, like where it is drama, they will put you in the algorithm and it will skyrocket. But if you talk about like educational stuff, they don't even put you in the algorithm. Like if you look at
The
the
one,
educational channels,
the
they don't
one
get
thing,
much views.
Alice, yeah, the one thing I want to add, Alice, is what, since I congratulate you for actually reading their community guidelines, but I also have to say it as this. Welcome to like DC of how they word things and interact different laws to intervene under other laws and make it very constricting through one way or the other, where all of a sudden they'll say, well, look at subpart B or subpart 3, par A dash C. And you may think, look at that, and all of a sudden it says, well, if that doesn't go to subpart 139, sub A, part 1. You know, that's where they conflict everything all in together. That's basically kind of like even government is running and making laws into other laws. So it's hard to change a law that, you know, should be ratified, or like as this case for YouTube for this matter, they make it very hard for you to do anything, because they can literally, with way they write everything all up, because it's done by a lawyer, definitely, that it makes it more harder for you to be a live streamer, to voice your opinion, even though we do have a constitution. But it seems like it's been attacked every single day, and narrows your voice to be able to be a creator on the YouTube and voice out what you feel as your First Amendment.
Well, what I'm finding is, if you look at the big YouTubers, right, the ones that have the highest, the ones that last the longest, is when we're talking about like cases. Say we're talking about like an arrest or something. The reason they stay up as long as they do is because they use that word allegedly. Okay. So we have to, since they did use a lawyer to make these community standards, we have to look at what laws are they actually trying to cover themselves on. And you got to think, this is a platform that someone created, but they don't want to be liable for other people's speech. So how do they protect themselves? They have to have all these set rules, but
Yep.
these rules is also it's suppressing the free speech, but
Yep.
they have to have their limitations so they can't be sued. Okay. So if you look at it on a legal standpoint, we can talk about certain issues. It's just we have to use certain language that will keep us out of trouble. And we could say, like, in their opinion, it's just really learning how to get the information out, but also learning where the line is. Since it is written by a lawyer, we have to go back to the layman terms and the legal needs, as they call it. And you're right, they got the subsections. Like when I go through the bills, I always like, the reason they don't want us going through the bills, they just want us to read the title, is because the devil's in the details.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
but
devil is
really,
always in the details.
but really, as far as this platform is concerned, it makes no sense at all. And I'm telling you, my last 2 videos proved beyond a reasonable doubt that they have no clue of what they're doing, or that something changed. because we went way over the line, way, way, way over the line.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, my second one was after his videos, and at that point in time, I used all the allegedly and in their opinion and all that stuff. Plus, I even had disclaimers posted on the videos and live during the chats, and even brought them up on the panel.
And they still got you.
They still slam me. So
Huh.
that makes no difference.
Okay, so
Yet what I find hilarious is my second one was gotten after being on Diego's, which was way beyond anything that was in mine. So yeah, the whole thing there doesn't hold any water because they don't follow a guideline. It's whatever their feeling happens to be at the moment, it seems.
well, the thing I found is, okay, like with TikTok, right? What I've learned in the year of being on TikTok, they had to add something to their standards. And this is something we could mention to them is like the false report system, like people falsely reporting your stream because TikTok, like I kept getting flagged on TikTok when I was doing lives and a troll would just coming along and hit me, right? With some kind of weird, like I was going over Google like a bill and they got me for sexual content. There was nothing sexual in my damn speech or what I was talking about. So like with TikTok, I think YouTube needs to add that where we have a chance to say, well, I was falsely reported because I think there's a lot of haters on YouTube. Okay. And this is just the way it is. There's other people that aren't getting what they want out of this app. So they go and find channels just to get them took down. So what they do is they do a we need a button when we get a violation or something for them to look into, was it falsely reported? Because I think when I got that medical that medical misinformation, they answered me within an hour and a half. Now that is the quickest reply back I have ever got, and I've been on YouTube for a long time. Okay, like almost 5 years now. Okay, so it's like that had to be a human report my video. It wasn't the computer because they
Alice, was it actually? Let me ask you this because this will be relevant. How many supporters or subs do you have in your channel?
I have like 200 and something, but I've got like in the last year, people don't like people that's actually talking about the agendas. So there's quite a few that don't want me exposing and breaking down the agendas. Okay, so that's what I focus on is bringing back critical thinking. The what, the when, the where, the how, the who, kind of stuff. So that
Robert, can you
I
do me a
only
favor?
had 2 views on that video. This is why it just kind of. I had 2 views and I got hit with medical misinformation. Now that
Robert,
that was
can you do me a favor
hit.
and pull up Gerald's comment?
Which
The only one there is.
Actually, there was another one, but you blew up the line, not just crossed it. Indeed,
Yeah,
Gerald.
I'm about to check
Indeed.
that out. I'm about to check it out because like
oh yeah,
I've been doing the same thing. I've been trying to see like what will get me a strike because I got all my strikes off, right? So I'm like, oh, I got me. It's time to play. You know what I'm saying? Once you get your strikes off, you're like, okay, let's see what I can do now. You get all excited. I'm not in the corner anymore, right? So like I had a stream and I was just like, y'all just say what the hell you want. You know what I'm saying? Just I try to stay away from the sexual talk because I really don't want to talk about that. But like just to see every other subject because there's enough people talking about sex. But like just to see the hot button topics and what we can and cannot say. It's just they've made it this way because of so many standards. like community standards. The only thing I could think the community they protect is their interest. If we think about why they have the community standards is to protect YouTube. But they have overdid it because they're not allowing for free speech on the platform, like actual free speech. There's limitations with free speech, and that's like lies and
Well,
defamation and
they're
the
really not
doxing
trying
and
to
shit
protect
people do.
YouTube at all.
Huh?
They're not trying to protect YouTube at all. They're absolutely trying to control a narrative. They're protected under 230 from being litigated for anything anybody posts or says. So that's irrelevant. The only thing they're trying to do is control the narratives. Period.
Yeah,
and
but we also have to
I
look
do believe that in a way that with a video that you upload, that they can somehow not let anybody see the views of that. And with TikTok, if you haven't known, TikTok is owned by China, and a lot of things in the news that even government officials are banned from using TikTok in DC area.
Well, when did they pass? Did they actually pass that?
As far as I know, it's
I believe
somewhere
they
along
did.
the lines, but it's been definitely that you cannot use TikTok while in DC or as a government official.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they're collecting intel. They're collecting intel with that app.
Yep.
What I also found out is like I talked to, I guess it was what goes on in Chinese TikTok, like actual China TikTok, and what goes on in America is two different things. Like all this gender ideology and stuff like that, it's not allowed on the Chinese side of TikTok. So there is a separation, and it's about the destabilization and demoralization of Americans. So it's like a lot of the stuff that we see on the American side, they're not going to see on that side because there is so much control in China. Like a lot of the stuff that we talk about, they're censored from actually seeing because it's about controlling the information flow in China. Like
Well, it's the same thing here, though. Absolutely the same thing. If I were to speak about the things that I know about the whole COVID thing, and if I were to talk about papers that are even published at the moment that doesn't go along with the narrative, I would suspect by tomorrow I would gain another one of them strikes back.
yeah.
So
Alice, can you post your the link to your channel, please?
Well, I'm on here, so it's like I'm not in the chat. So, but no, like I went down the rabbit hole the other day, right? Because the SARS data, right? You know what I found? Okay, it took me to the energy department, and then that took me to these like awards, right? And I found a crack in the matrix. There's something they're hiding. And it's like they don't message you as long as you're like, "Ooh, what is this? This is certain things we could say, like, oh, this is interesting. But like they haven't hit that one yet, and I'm surprised because like what I am finding is when we do, Robert, when we go back and we're looking at a lot of stuff on the internet, there is missing links. So it's like what we need to do in this day and age is like screenshot a lot of this stuff that's going on, especially with the data. Because what I'm finding is after a certain amount of time, they're deleting it. And it'd be amazing, like from 10 years from now, we actually try to go find the data because all the data in 2003, a lot of it is gone.
There's
And
a
I'm
reason
wondering-
probably why they're doing that, because if you remember, when that one case was going in there, they were going after to get the information released. They wanted to wait 75 to 100 years before that so that they couldn't. So this is the opportunity for them to get rid of that. So when a time, if they get pulled into court, they'll say, oh, we don't have that data. So that's the reason why you should That's one reason why, if you got screenshots of it or actual paperwork, definitely print it out or whatever else for that matter, and go from there.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm
why,
saying. Like, it's gonna take us as people that collect data to actually keep records of it besides on these apps, because they could go into our apps and delete shit. It's a part of their if you go into the actual terms and stuff like that, like when you sign up for Google, it says that they have the right to go through your pictures and everything else. When you go on Twitter, it'll say the same thing. They can also ping your location. Like with TikTok, they can go through all your devices. Anything that you upload that TikTok app on, it can go through your computer. They can go through your phone list. They can go through your photos. They can go through your text messages. I mean, it's a very infiltrating app, and you won't know until you actually look at the terms and conditions. And the
I
condition
will
is that you have no more privacy.
I will step that up a bit. Your phone plan that you have, and maybe some of you can do this, but some of you cannot do this. I know I found it on my phone, but your location. In your settings, I tried to shut off the location. And of course, I've got an Android, so it's definitely through Google. And I could not shut off the location on my phone. I tried every way possible. That's the other way, how they're just literally tracking you wherever you are at. The only way they cannot track you is if you don't have a phone with you. But for the most part, with a lot of electronic stuff that we deal with, for the most part, I'm being tracked one way or the other. My ELD, I don't know what the operating service is actually on it. I would imagine it's probably Google. So they're tracking me either if I do have a phone or don't have a phone or a tablet that's in the truck so that I do my ELD logs. I'm being tracked one way or the other.
Yeah,
As just
that's a you. If you have you looked at this social credit system, like how it all like goes back to just our devices. Like everybody was like, "Oh, they're gonna chip us." Well, they already have if we have a device. Okay,
yeah,
they're
you're carrying it
following
around.
us everywhere. I mean, like my mom is about. There's only a few older people that I know that never even got an email or got a smartphone. Like my mom completely stayed away from all of it, right? But they could still like track you through your banking and everything else. But
she
like,
doesn't have a smart TV.
nope.
Okay, I give her credit. Give her a lot of
Like
credit.
my
Robert,
mom is scared of
Robert,
technology. My mom is petrified of technology. Okay, like when the
Ro-
internet came out,
Robert,
she thought it was
Yes.
the gateway to hell. Okay, so my mom never like ever had an email address. She has the old dial-up phone. You know the one that turns, that one. You
yeah,
know the one
rotary
where
phone, yeah,
if you get the wrong number and it goes
yeah, I
What's
grew
like
there you
up with
go.
that. Robert, thank you very much for posting that link. Alice, you have a new subscriber.
yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to you too because I want to like check out your stuff. Um,
Oh, I
Well,
trust
I
check
me,
it
find it
out.
Alice.
Let us know.
interesting when we're
You will definitely like that panel. Those two last panels that Diego did. Um, and like I said, we were basically balls to the wall, no holds barred, and just that the fact is like I said to Diego earlier, it's like I failed him.
Yeah, I was telling everybody, okay, here it is. Because I used to have a, before that, I used to have a clean channel that I moderated very much. And we used to have to speak in code. And I was getting tired of it. And then I got the 2 strikes and I literally told everybody, okay, I'm taking my channel down, but I'm doing it on my terms. So no holds barred. And we couldn't do it the first show. And man, we tried. And then I had to have another one. And that didn't work.
Yeah, it's like when we're trying to just crash the channel, it doesn't work. It's like weird because like when I'm not trying to get a strike, I get a strike. When I am trying my hardest to get one, it's like they play mind games, man. It's like I set out to see where the line was, like at the beginning of the year, because I had all my strikes come off. So it was like, all right, what's going to trigger it? Because, you know, they're always changing the standards. So it's like you have to take a chance just to see. So obviously they're not paying attention to us right now. That's the only thing I can come to the conclusion is they're not paying attention to certain stuff right now. And I think it's because they don't want to lose everybody off the platform because
Yeah, but
it's kind of like struggle
I
session
don't
almost.
get it. I don't get it. What's the threshold? I have like 1K followers.
The threshold. The threshold on what? Like where the line is, or
Yeah, yeah. But
when
how
they
many followers do you have to have before they really care?
You almost got to be up in like almost like 20, 30, 40K before they actually, you literally, when you have that many subscribers, because there is a channel that I know that has well over 60K, and you've got your own personal YouTube assistant. If you ever got questions, you call them directly, and whatever problems you got with your channel, you talk to them directly, because you're already up to that point in amount of subscribers, and you're making money for them, for the platform, and they're going to do whatever they can basically in a way to kiss that channel's butt, because believe it or not, the platform is making money off of you. So for some of us that are these little lower channels, you know, that might have got over 1K, like let's say me, I'm seeing a little bit more benefits here, not a whole lot. I can do a little bit more things with shorts and things of that nature, but the bigger the channel you get, if you've got 100K or more followers, I mean, and you're literally making a paycheck from YouTube, they're going to kiss your butt no matter what, because you're making them money as well.
well, you look at Salty Cracker, right? Look at how many subscribers he's got. The threshold I think is when they monetize you. And that takes a lot. It's like I'm not monetized. It takes a lot to get monetized. And it's about
No,
watch hours or something.
but I am monetized.
Oh, you are monetized.
And I could be too if I wanted to. I have it basically on if I want it, but because of the fact is I play music nonstop in mine, getting the endless amount of emails, I just shut it off. Every time before I go live, I shut it off.
Oh, so you play the music.
Yep, I always have music usually playing in my live streams. Like right now, I'm live streaming my sleeper berth. I don't have no music playing, but for the most part, normally if I'm on I could put the music on this live stream right now. But all I know is I'm going to deal with a headache the next day where I've got over between 1 and 150 copyright things, and then I got to send it into the place where I get my music actually from, because I got a license. And then all of a sudden, then once they clear all that, then I'll get 150 some emails back saying this video has been released. So under the monetization, no, I just shut it off because it's more easier that way, which is for another topic that I did talk with YouTube about that. But like I said, that's for another topic at another day.
Maybe
I know
another
that
one
they
of my
can take.
close me
they
down
can-
shows.
I know
What's
that
that,
they can
Diego?
take your monetization.
Oh yeah, they can. They can definitely do it. Diego, what was that you mentioned?
I said maybe that's reserved for another one of my Take Me Down shows.
Just keep AC/DC in mind. I guarantee you that might do it.
Oh no, I got many copyright violations. Like I
Diego,
care.
where are you from?
Where am I from or where am I at?
Like, where are you at? Like, are you in
I'm at-
America or in another country?
He's
I'm
in
in
the.
Mex-
He's actually the southerner part of the United States. We'll say.
No, no. You guys are in the northern part of Mexico.
That's why I'm
Oh, so you're
saying
in
southern part of
Texas.
the U.S.
So
No,
you
he's
got-
actually in Mexico. Diego's is actually in Mexico.
Oh, they might have different regulations for you, okay? Like, depending on what country you're from and what your country is located on your channel, that could be why you were able to go across the line. Like, mine is located in America. I put it location America, and I think that's like they're trying to control the information that's in America. Okay. So I don't know. It could be because of your location. Like if you put Florida as your location because they have the thing against the social media from like censor them. I know a lot of people that have Florida as their thing, they could say just about whatever they want because they sued. I think there's a lawsuit where they sued them from being like they can't just censor them. Now people in Florida can sue social media for suppression of First Amendment rights. And I think that's another reason they're going to let Trump back on a lot of things is because
He's in
of that
Florida.
lawsuit. Mm-hmm.
Alice, I never thought about that, but I'm glad you brought that point up.
Because I wonder about that, like depending on our like what we log our stuff in as, could that possibly allow for certain stuff?
That's a very good point. I'm glad, like I said, Alice, you brought that up.
But you've seen those Philippine channels, right? And it says that we're not supposed to like be buying subs and stuff like that and doing sub streams. But it's like if you go to some of these Philippine sites, that's what they're doing. Like some of these YouTubes that are from the Philippines, they're buying subs. They're like it's like a sub screen. Like I didn't even know they existed, but Latin brought me to one, and that's exactly what they're doing. But they allowed them to do it, and I'm wondering because if we tried to do that, right? Try to do a sub stream where we can like boost people's subs up, right? We'll get put like our whole channel will be disappeared. But for some reason, those Philippine sites, so I don't know, maybe depending on the country, depends on what they allow. Because that's the only thing I could think.
I can tell you this though, they definitely allow a lot of what I would
Pornography
consider
stuff from Philippines too.
not first world to do a lot of things that we would not be able to do. And I think it's just for the mere fact that that's their social equity and not necessarily laws. Because I know I watched a guy repost a ton of different people's content as if he was them and continually done it, had been reported several times, but yet they let him stay going doing it. When if anybody, if I would have done that, they'd have took me right on down for doing it.
Right.
But yet they did not this person at all. And they're probably still continuing it to this day.
Oh, you mean like the content jackers?
Exactly.
Yeah, they use your content to build content.
For their own purpose.
Yeah, basically, there's a lot of people that do that. They'll misrepresentate your content, and then next thing you know, you got all kind of nonsense that you don't even know why people are coming at you sideways. It's just because the way they misrepresented your content, which
Or
shows
they
more
twist
even
it
more
for their
division.
own benefit, for their own views of their own channel.
Yeah, it's weird. Like like I was a person that didn't get on the internet till I got older. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't on the internet. Like I grew up in like my dad. I didn't get on the internet. I think I was like 24, 25. So it's like I'm still in culture shock because like I'm just not believing a lot of this stuff actually exists. like,
Well,
like
welcome to the internet.
like I didn't know. Like I really sometimes when I'm on the internet, I feel like I'm in the book Alice in Wonderland. Okay, like I feel like I'm on this adventure in YouTube land. I call this YouTube land because it's like a whole another world, like YouTube world, or I can't explain it because like there's so many different sectors, and ah, it, I still don't. You know what? My grandfather told me a long time ago. He's like, Alice, if it don't make sense, then sometimes it's just not meant to. So don't even try to hurt your brain with it. Kind of like, sir,
Well, but
I'm
you
come
can
to the
say the same
conclusion.
thing
There's
as a
some things I
subset.
can't.
You
Go
could say
ahead.
the same thing as a subset to even these panels. Most people come on YouTube don't even have a clue that they exist. You know, I certainly didn't up till about a year ago at all.
Yeah,
So I mean,
and
that's the same thing you're talking about. It's you know, even though we talk about people living in a bubble world, truthfully, we really do here, because it is a very limited subset of people that even know these panels exist. You know, even on YouTube itself.
yeah, what I'm finding is like when I first started making content, it was pre-record, right? And I noticed that people could go live, and then I figured out how to do it, right? So it's like it's been a whole experience doing live streams. Like it made it more easier to present what I was talking about because like when
Yep.
I did the
Yep.
pre-record, I had to use two phones, and it was like trying to explain it. I would have to put the camera up there, and then it came out backwards. So all my content looked backwards. It was like you can't read what the hell I'm talking about. So I was glad that I was able with the live stream be able to like, you could share your stream, share your screen, and then people can see it the right way. Now I did see the benefit in that, but like when you do a live, it's ad lib basically, and when you're doing pre-records, you can review it before you show it, kind of thing. But when you're doing live, it's like once it's out there, it's out there. So if you make a mistake, then that's where the retractions come into play. Like, oh, I didn't mean to say that, or I got to correct this and everything else. It was easier doing the pre-records than it was doing the live on
But
that
for
standpoint.
the most part, on between pre-records and lives, the pre-records that you normally do, you got to go through editing, and that usually takes forever. I mean, I'm a constant live stream, so I mean, it's like, was there things I probably said in some of my videos that probably shouldn't have gotten out there? Maybe there's probably some things, but for the most part, sitting down and editing a 12-hour live stream, because mine can get up to 12 hours, and sitting there and edit the whole thing just for like maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes out of a whole 11 hours, that takes a lot amount of time with my kind of field that I'm in. So for me, it's just a lot easier just to live stream it. Could there be things that might be forgotten? Yeah, there could be. But for the most part, I find it a lot easier just to live stream everything, because people see the head on of what's going on with what I do for a living, and people want to see that. But to actually go in there and do edited videos and then post them up there. Sometimes it doesn't always work. A lot of people might say, well, it was good in the very beginning because he was live streaming, and now all of a sudden he's doing edited videos, and it's like, yeah, I'm losing my interest in this channel, and they just leave.
Oh, okay, so your content's based on your
Real
base,
life,
like the
right,
people.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
I
people
wouldn't-
do like the.
I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to do pre-recorded panels, because I don't care.
Oh,
And
so
I
it's
would
like
say,
your.
Diego, that, and I guess I'll ask you this because I know you've asked me a question a long time ago. So I'm going to ask you this, Diego, do you find that doing a live stream, you get more people to interact with the current panel of discussion, or would you think you would not be able to get that, those feedbacks back on a pre-recorded?
Oh, there's no doubt. On the pre-recorded, there's no way I would get the feedback. And I wouldn't want that. The whole point of it is that it's live. And at some point, I mean, I try to behave myself as much as I can. And if somebody doesn't like what I'm saying, then F off.
Too
Here's
bad.
the toilet paper. Here's the toilet paper. Go cry about it. No, with the pre-records, I found when I like my first channel, the pre-records, if they're under 15 minutes, you do get interaction. But once you get past that 15-minute threshold, it's like you don't get the interaction as you would because like people's attention spans aren't as long. And the whole reason they brought forth the shorts was because of TikTok, okay? Because what they're noticing is people are their attention span is like lessening as we get further into the generations. It's like
Well,
they're
that's
not paying
why
attention at all.
That's why YouTube is basically emulating TikTok with their shorts,
Yeah.
Right.
which to me just take the
Helps the
TikTok shit,
decline.
shove it up their ass.
Basically, like with my one son and his fiance, believe it or not, they will sit there and I was like, oh, what you watching? Oh, TikTok. I'm just like shaking my head and I'm walking away because I know TikTok is tracking all your data and everything else, and for him, I did tell it to him and he still continues to watch it. But, when YouTube definitely started bringing shorts in, yeah, it's kind of nice. You can definitely get a lot of hits on a good view on a good video. My wife put one up last week. It's gotten well over, I think it was like 5 hours, over 2K views. And I put one up shortly after that, and I barely even got maybe 600 views. So, it definitely, YouTube Shorts definitely do kind of help your channel in a way. It definitely helps. It's like, well, if he does this, what more could we expect with a longer video? So, I mean, I've been
But
around
I find that like the shorts, like if you're doing live streams all the time, right? The real benefit of the shorts is you can do a opening for your upcoming live stream like, as an advertisement because
Right.
advertisements are normally really quick anyways. So there is a benefit to it. I did a short and it was talking about donuts, right? Because I'm a troll whisperer and I whisper to the trolls and I pss, 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 right? And it's just me having a little fun with these crazy people online. Okay. But that one video within like 3 hours of me saying donuts and just showing some donuts, I got like 6K in a couple hours. I was like,
Right.
wow. The most stupidest thing will get you views, and that just shows where our society is. Like I was like, I could have a clip from one of these like meetings at the school board or something. I'll find something from the school board. I won't even get many views on it. Or if it was something that was meaningfully said from Patriot TikTok, like the Patriot side, I won't get many views. But if I clip something stupid Biden does, boy, the views just go out of the roof. So it's like it just like I'm learning a lot about where our society is. Like when I got the TikTok, I was testing it out because I got kids, right? So I was like, well, why are all these kids getting TikTok? What is really on TikTok? So when I started my TikTok, one of my first videos was like to test out this product, and I ended up like almost at 7K. So every month I did a video talking about the things that I learned and the things that I pointed out needed to be fixed. And then I started to notice like they added the false reports because I brought that up. So I was like, maybe they are listening, right? So like my year on TikTok, which I still like get on there and do a live stream to talk about like the new bills and stuff that's coming up, the things that we need to pay attention to, like that declaration of the North of America, the thing that Biden put out. They're still not talking about it in the news. The only one that brought it up was Fox News. And you know that puts Canada and America and Mexico into an open border transport system. Basically, if you look at what they added to it, more of the I find that the diversity talk, the inclusion, the progressive, that's all at the Marxist colleges. So I started pointing that out. Now, when I get too close to exposing like what the Marxist is doing on TikTok, they'll throttle that or they'll violate the video and take it down. They don't
Right.
let you bash socialism on that socialist app because I did a video on it, like breaking it down, like the threat of socialism, the real threat, and how we become slaves to the master and all that. And I had like 30K views on that video. And then they got me for what was it, endangering children. I was like, what? But like what I'm finding is if we pay attention to social media and then you look at society, you can see how the social media has altered our culture and society. Not in a, it could be, it was meant to be a tool, but now it's used as a weapon. Okay. So if we look at what they're doing, they're using it to slowly decay our society, which is sad when you think about it.
Well,
Because
the
I
one
know
thing
people that's never
too with
used it.
the one thing too with TikTok, because I seen something on the national news about endangering to kids, before, because basically it's an open platform. So like when you were talking about socialism and all that, is because, believe it or not, like I said before, China owns TikTok. So they don't want that being pushed out under their platform in any way, shape, or form. Now, I do know a very good friend of mine. He is a radio broadcaster down in Southern Florida. He tried to live stream basically to TikTok, and because of everything he was talking about, they shut him down in 3 days. He can't do anything really on TikTok. He can't broadcast the TikTok because they don't want all that information getting around to everybody that might be around in China or other countries. So throttling him back, yeah, they can definitely do that. But getting back to where you were saying that it was harmful to children, that is one thing definitely that they try to push these narratives out to these children to kind of give them a different aspect of what they think should be and not the way that what it should truly be.
Well,
I kind of want to add, Alice, you hit a very, very good point when you pointed out where society is. It's amazing that when somebody has some real information, it's less important than a picture of a kitty.
Yeah, the kitty videos, they get a lot of attention. Like, it's just like if you pay attention to what is picking up speed on what is trending and what ain't trending, it's like the less you use your brain, the more better, like more views you get. It's crazy. It's almost like reminds me of Idiocracy, if y'all have ever seen that movie. Like, if you look at where society was, and then they bring you to where they're not even watering the plants with water anymore. Like, and they told that guy he was stupid for wanting toilet water because that's all they use the water for. Um, and then
The worst part of that is exactly where we had it.
Yes. No, we're already there. I
Yeah,
No, we're
guarantee
I
you,
would
not
agree.
there
If you-
quite
if you
yet,
took a
but
short-
we're going there.
if you took a short of an ass farting, put it up, I guarantee you would end up with millions of views.
Yeah.
yeah, especially on TikTok. Like the stuff that had
even on
millions
YouTube.
of views was, yeah, on YouTube too. But like TikTok, you would have like 100,000 views. There was a guy picking his nose, and he had like 100 million views. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is what y'all are paying attention to? Who would watch that over and over again? Like somebody picking their nose. Like seriously? Are
I'm
we
gonna
that
add-
dumb?
I'm going to add to that, with what Robert said. If somebody's letting, a fart, now we'll add a little bit to that. If all of a sudden they put a lighter to that, I
Yep.
guarantee you that probably hit quite a few more million views because they're going to kind of watch it over and over and over and over again, which is another view, another view, another view, another view, another view. And if they're sharing it out to their friends and say, hey, you got to check this out. This is so hilarious. And I mean, that's what gets you views. But like, if you wanted to sit there and do a short of a guy just basically rambling off about nothing and maybe a cute kitty that's sitting in a sink, what do you think is probably going to get the more bigger views?
Well, there was a one that was trending. The lady and her friend, she put baby oil on her friend's behind. Wow. Like, you could see the ass. She put baby oil on her, and she set her own ass on fire. That had 100 million views on TikTok of the girl setting her own ass on fire. Like, why would you even attempt to do that? And then you see her run out of the view of the camera. Her behind is still on fire, and I read the comments, and I'm like, what? Why? But it's like when you do something educational, that does not even get views. Okay, when you're actually using your brain, people don't pay attention to it. But if you do something idiotic, it gets all the views. That's why Robert's right. We're already there in Idiocracy.
And like on top of that, there was another short that where somebody actually put like Gorilla Glue on for something. I don't remember exactly what it's for, but I don't remember the short, but definitely Gorilla Glue. Really? Come on. I thought people had some more common sense than that.
Yeah, she even got them to pay for her surgery.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Common sense.
Yeah, I know, Diego. I know.
There is idiot labels on products, okay? Idiot labels. All right. And these idiot labels, the idiots can't read. It says do not put on skin. And like, why did they pay for her? Because what did she do? After everybody made fun of her, she cried. And then everybody was like, oh, this is something serious. Like, she was a person that does hair. Okay, so they know, a person that does hair knows that glue is going to stick to your scalp. Just like when you're like putting hair in, the black girls, they put the hair in the tracks or whatever. There's one thing that you don't put it on the scalp. You put it on the root of the hair so you comb it out. Okay, so it was like, she said she didn't do it on purpose. Yes, she did. She did it on purpose so she could make money, and it worked.
on top of that too, I mean, okay, since we're bringing up a lot of this about common sense, now just think of all these people once we get older. How much common sense are they going to worry about taking care of us, like the health care? Are they going to worry more about a video on TikTok than the patient that's sitting in a room that needs a cold blue with a defibrillator or something else? Are we going to end up dying because of they say, oh, well, I had to watch this TikTok video first because it was really hilarious. That's a lot of the things that I look forward to. It's like, okay, is that going to happen? Am I going to be one of those statistics where I'm going to die possibly in a hospital room because a TikTok video is more important than my health?
Well, come
Well-
on.
Well,
now,
I
Gary,
think
wait a
I think
second.
what you have to worry about is all the people that when they get and this includes the medical profession, all the people that get an electric product and they open up the box and they think the white packets that come in the box are edible. That's a problem.
Yeah, but here's the other rub. That has already happened, Gary. You look at during the COVID when the hospitals were supposedly all full, no room, people running around, shortage of nurses, shortage of doctors, but yet they're dancing down the hallway doing TikTok videos.
Right.
So yeah, that is literally already happening.
Well, one thing I noticed because I was like getting into the medical field and I was doing the EKG stuff, everything is done by tablet now. So,
Yep.
like, before I got certified, I was taking care of my uncle. Okay. And it's like in home care, it's like personal, right? So you're there with the person. But technology has took hold in the medical field. So now everything is on an electronic device. Okay. So if say an EMP hit us, hopefully it don't, but if it did, there would be a lot of people die because of the fact that everything is hooked up to these tablets. Okay. What I noticed was when they started bringing in the tablets, the doctors weren't coming in the room like they were supposed to. The nurses weren't coming in the room. It was like they were always on their device. If I wasn't there with my uncle, and I know that this was probably one of the reasons a lot of people didn't, when they got put on them ventilators, didn't come back home. Because, like, when he was put on a ventilator, I was paying attention to his reading on his EKG stuff, right? And if you pay attention, you can see when they're dehydrated. It's like once they implemented the tablets into the medical field to watch each patient in each room when they're not in there, it's like they would let the machine go off. You would hear it beep, 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 beep. It'd be like they're too short-handed. And the way they're doing the medical field now, it's like it's not personal anymore. You're just a number and on a tablet. And depending on how that person really cares about people, because they're not hiring people to take care of people no more. They're just giving people jobs that want a paycheck. Like even when I was in the medical school, going to the medical school, it was like there were so many women that were in my class, and it wasn't about the patient anymore. It was about, okay, I'm taking this class so I can upgrade my paycheck. Because that's what they're trying to get the nurses to be able to be capable of doing everything so they can put too much on one person. Like they wanted me to take a phlebotomy class on top of the CNA class and the EKG. That way I could do all three, which that takes jobs from other people. Okay. So when you make it like a combined thing, it's something's going to get missed. Okay, so it's like because they're consolidating everything, it's something's going to be missed. The personalization of the care is not there anymore. Okay, and it's really sad. So that's why it's important if you can get married, make sure that you do get married, because the personal care you'll get by the one that loves you is going to be a lot better than the hospital. Because when I went to the personal care home, the old people just wander around. Like they don't even care. It's like they're staying on them tablets. Like Robert brought up, they were making dance videos. People are dying. Y'all are complaining in the media that they're like y'all are overwhelmed, but how did y'all make time to make these TikTok videos? If y'all are swamped, then how did you make that? Because they were lying. It's not that they were swamped. It's just they don't personalize care anymore, which is sad.
And that's absolutely it too. The
Hey,
it's a
Jethro.
one size. How you doing,
Hey, Diego.
Chaplain? It's a one size fits all. No individualized care anymore. If it doesn't say it under tablet, it doesn't get done. And sometimes what they do is the wrong thing. Which I think is already starting to come out with the whole COVID thing. You know, they didn't separate the died with or died of, you know, just to skew the numbers.
Oh, they're
And
still
that was-
doing that today yet.
Oh, for sure. And it's very much cookie cutter. It's not individualistic at all.
It's because they're trying to like make everyone happy and they think that there's only a one size fits all. It's just like the education system. The reason the education system has failed and the numbers are so low is because, you know, when they put in standardized testing, they made it where they left kids behind actually because they focused on the smart kids. And what they're when they say there are no lit kids left behind, that means the ones that are behind are just getting pushed up the line. They're not actually taking time to find out what's going on with this kid. And they're not teaching them no more besides to pass that test. That's what they're doing with our education. Like before they put in the public schools, you know, you had the small schools and the kids, by the time they were in 8th grade, they already knew what they were going to do because they would pick up the trade of the mother or the father. And then when they implemented the public school system, it's just like a indoctrination camp. They're not teaching them to think anymore. They're teaching them what to think. And if you ask questions, then they put you in detention or they try to separate you, say you're crazy. Like my son, when he started asking questions, the teacher got frustrated. She started calling me. Your son was asking questions. I was like, well, he's at school and that's what he's supposed to do. No, but he's like, it's like they hate anybody that asks questions. That's where we're at. It's just crazy when you think about like the one size fits all. It's kind of like the shots. They tried to make it one size fits all without like including. That's where like a lot of the medical field people have been speaking up because of the fact that everybody has a different mind and you can't just give everybody the same dosage because not everybody's the same size. And not everybody has the same body chemistry. Not everybody has the same, like some people are not allergic to anything. There's people that are allergic to things. It's just the way they rolled everything out. It was just not logical and it went against their own do no harm. Because if you think about a new medicine coming on, the best thing, the way the medical field was set up is find out what people's backgrounds were, like their medical history before you implement it. And they just completely went against the traditional way of doing medicine to sell drugs. That's where we're at. They have destroyed the medical field completely. If you think about it, they have destroyed it. And it didn't take long, did it? This last couple years, they went against everything traditionally what the medical field was set up for, which was do no harm. And there's going to be a lot more people that's not going to trust the medical field because of it.
You're a fool right now if you trust the medical field.
I think I'd have a better luck being at home, and if I absolutely need to defibrillate my own heart, I would probably have a better shot doing it at home than in a hospital, to tell you the truth.
Well, what I found out when I was doing medical billing is like they double charge you on everything. And if the
Yep.
medical biller does not catch it, then you got a hell of a bill. They need to regulate on costs on that. You remember when they regulated the auto business, like the mechanic? At one time, mechanics could charge whatever. And then they had to regulate it, but they haven't regulated the medical field. That's why it don't make any sense. You can donate your heart for free, but it's what, $500,000 to have a heart surgery or more to do the surgery with a free organ. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, you're better off not trusting them. Like, 'cause I don't trust them. Once I started seeing what they're doing, I was like, there's no way I could trust them after knowing what they've done in the last couple of years. Knowing that they don't they don't even hold up to their own standards. And that's because, like, I was going over one of the people that it was like Marxism in our medicine now, and it's about destabilization of traditions, like what we traditionally use, how we did medicine. Like they have infiltrated that field, and now the medical people don't even know what a woman is anymore. That's a proof that Marxism has made it to the medical field when we've got doctors that don't even know what a woman is anymore.
Well, neither do some in government.
Yeah, that it has to do with the Marxism, because if you go back to Frankfurt College, like the first Marxist college, it was about exploring sexuality, and it got really strange. Like it's
You're in the medical billing, am I correct? Are you?
yeah, I
were?
did that for a little while, and that's when I found out the numbers and how they were ripping people off.
Well, when we looked at when we looked at the bill they gave me after I had spinal fusion surgery back in 2015, I looked at that bill, my jaw hit the floor. I said, "How can they be charging for all this stuff?" And it goes right to the insurance company, but a percentage of it comes to me that I got to pay out of pocket. And here I am retired. I thought that was supposed to be different, but I got a great education on that when I went through my back surgery as to what they charge for just about every little thing.
Yep. If it's like a needle, they charge you for that.
Charge you for that,
The linens, the bed,
everything.
everything. They charge you for everything. But I want to say thank you for everybody that who did come up here tonight.
No.
I am going to be heading to bed, so definitely I will hopefully catch a lot of you later on. Diego, as always, good to see you. Alice, good to meet you. Chaplain, we'll see you possibly tomorrow. Robert, enjoy your night.
Take care, Gary.
Have a good one, Gary.
Nice to meet you too.
Later, everybody.
Anyway, Alice, I did join your channel. I did subscribe to it.
Everybody that subscribed, I'll be subscribing back. A lot of times when people subscribe, I subscribe back to check out their content too. But like you were talking about, which one was talking about the surgery?
Yeah, it was about me, and then my wife had 2 surgeries. She had surgery on her knee and on her shoulder replacement. You don't even want to know the cost of that.
Oh, it's expensive. I've had shoulder
God.
surgery. It's ridiculous what they charge us. That's what they need to regulate on, actually, to be honest with you, because they could charge whatever. You can go to one doctor, it'll charge one thing, and then you go to another doctor. They set the rates on everybody else, but that is the real entrepreneur field, because you can set your rate at whatever you want. You can charge whatever you want. There's no like regulations on it. And that really puts a dent in the American pocket if you think about it, because when there's no set rate, it can get really expensive. But like when you get a surgery or something, best thing to do is get a copy of the original bill and then cross-reference it. That's what the medical billing specialist is supposed to do, is they're supposed to go through the bill to make sure that you're not being doubly charged. But if that medical billing specialist works for the insurance company, or they get paid more to make sure that everything is doubly charged, they will do that. And that's the sad part about the reality of the medical billing specialist. Like, can they be bought off to overcharge the customer? And I think that there's a lot of opportunity in, kind of like the lobbyists do with the politicians. They can stir them one way or another. But if you do have to have another surgery, that's my suggestion, is like get a copy of everything and then cross-reference the original bill with the bill that you get, and keep a record of everything they do, because they will double charge you. Because when you go and you actually look, sometimes they do it and it's a technical error that one of the nurses put in, that they gave you the medicine twice or something like that. But those little bitty things add up and they charge you for everything. So if you see double charges, just it's always good to just review how they charged you, and you can find the discrepancies, because you might
Anna just
have
wrote
for it to
something
be
in
that
here.
expensive.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, just make sure that you're keeping a record of everything they do anytime that you go to the
We did.
hospital.
We did. Shook her head, but we did anyway. Anna said something about candy stripers. Whatever happened to them? Well, I can answer that. The schools stopped the cooperative program for that some 20 years ago right here in Flint. That's how I know about that. So I
Yeah,
hope
I
that
did
answers
that
your
when I was young. The candy stripers, where you go and visit the patients and stuff like that. That was actually a good thing, because if you wanted to get in the medical field, it could give you what is it, in-person experience.
Yep.
Well, the other thing is, it also gives patients more human interaction. Nowadays, there's very little. If someone's in the hospital laid up, what are they seeing? The nurse once or twice a day, the doctor maybe. That's it. There's
Depends
no.
on the severity.
Pardon?
It depends on the severity of the
Yeah,
surgery.
absolutely, absolutely. But what I'm saying is it still takes away, in that case, like with the candy stripers, that personal human interaction. Even as mundane as for little stuff,
Yeah.
it's still very much a person to person interaction that we're lacking a lot more in hospitals and in the medical field.
Yeah, they are lacking that, because like it got really really obvious during like 2020 and 2021, like the way they wouldn't
Absolutely.
let the family come in, and they know like human touch of someone that you know personally, or someone that you're close to, can help you heal, hearing their voice and everything. And it's just sad that they have got more interested in the money they can make off people than the actual care of the patient. That's the sad part of where our society is with the medical field. Especially for the elderly. Some of them are in there and they don't have no one to talk to. It's a really lonely experience when you go to these nursing homes and these personal care homes. I noticed that when my uncle was in there. Like there was old people just sitting in the room, nobody ever coming to visit them, and just seeing
Mhm.
them light up. Because I would come in there with a bag of candy, and I got in trouble, but it's okay. Like
Yeah,
just seeing
well,
them
do
light up,
that.
just seeing them light up at the sight of a sucker.
One of my
It's like
ministries used to
really
do just
sad,
that.
man. It broke my heart to see like all these people, and there's nobody caring about them. It's like the sense of humanity, man.
I see it every time I go to the nursing home when I take my ministry there because I'll point to one guy. I won't tell you about all of them, but there's just one guy. He had been there for probably about 30 years because he was completely, totally, paralyzed from the neck down. And eventually, all of his family just dropped off, and he was left by himself for the remaining 20 years of his life, and nobody came to see him. And I always wondered about that. And I said, could you find out what's going on with his family? Why they ain't coming up here? And they said there ain't nobody left. He ain't got one person in his family that's alive right now.
Hey you guys,
So I
hi.
had, huh?
I
Pardon
said,
me?
hey you guys, hi.
How you doing, Latina?
And I had to do the funeral for him because nobody else would do it for him. So I had to do it. And that was really sad to see that. But he was one of the most joyful people I ever had the pleasure of knowing.
Buenas tardes, Latina.
Hi. I know of a nurse in Canada who assisted with the euthanasia on an elderly woman who had no family members left alive, and there was nothing wrong with her. She wasn't sick or anything. She just wanted to go. So, and the sad thing is that nurse didn't see anything wrong with helping that lady just go to sleep and never wake up. It was just really weird.
Are you talking about that new thing that they passed in Canada?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Hi,
the assisted suicide.
Yeah.
It's weird that they're allowing that. Like,
well, but how come she doesn't see anything wrong with that? It's just so weird.
because they're not like they're detaching the human connection to medicine anymore, Len. Like, if you pay attention, it's like the nurse is dancing. Like, is that supposed to cheer someone up? Like, there was that one TikTok where the
Yeah.
ladies were
Stop video.
carrying a body bag.
Oh no.
Did you see that one?
No.
Where they were dancing and carrying a body bag. And I was like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, this is weird.
Alice, I have seen the meme of what's it called? The hucklebearers, in certain cultures, they will dance with the casket, and the meme, they use it a lot for like video live streamers, but sometimes they drop those bodies when they dance.
I just think we're in a weird time in our society. And it's really weird. Like, I think once they implemented nursing homes, that was like a way of just disregarding the elderly. Like, we're just gonna put them in a box, put them over here, put them in a room or whatever, and just forget about them.
They were
The
supposed to be
sense of
specialized.
family's not there no more, huh?
They were supposed to be specialized care facilities, but my mom is from Mexico, and she says she doesn't remember ever seeing like anyone in her small little town having like Alzheimer's or dementia. So is that a new thing?
It is new if you think about it, and I think it has to do with all the chemicals they put in our food.
And not only
The
that,
chemicals in our water, the
mhm.
chemicals just I think the chemicals, because you think our body it's got its own chemistry. Okay, so if you implement like different chemicals it could onset other things. So it's like we are what we eat kind of thing. So you're a chaplain. So you're like a you go to the church, like you go to the hospitals.
I go to nursing homes.
Is there more good that you see, like being able to like deal with the elderly? Does it? I know it's heartbreaking when they go, but like the time that you spend with them, does it like give you the joy in your job, like doing what you do?
I do it because they have no other outlet to go to. Most of them can't get out and go to church on their own without assistance. So those that cannot, or families that do not take them to church, that's why I'm there, to make sure that they get a church service.
I used to work in a nursing home. I was the activity assistant. That was
So you
fun.
did the activities?
Yeah, I used to paint their nails and play games with them, like bingo, and help them with things that they wanted to do.
Did bingo night get lit?
No, it was during the day. They would close down like the activities like at a certain time, like before dinner, and then there was
Yeah.
nothing after that for them where I worked. So they would get bored. They would tell me that they would be really bored in the evening because a lot of times they can't sleep, It's like they're forced to go in their rooms because it's like, I think it's like some of it might be like a rehabilitation center.
Yeah,
So
some of them are. In fact, the one that I'm going to now is.
because
Well, that's
I
a good
told her,
thing that you're doing. That's a good thing you're doing in Chaplin, actually, because uh, it is lonely up there, man. Like when my kids get older, I was thinking about doing like volunteer work like that, just to keep me busy because once the kids are gone, like I got to find something to do. And I did find a lot of joy in doing volunteer work. I do it sometimes, like when I have extra time, but when you're raising kids and everything else, it's like hard to like your time is limited. So like I'll do volunteer work like with AA, bringing people to their meetings and stuff like that. I was doing the Red Cross thing, and went during the 2020. You had the food boxes, you had the elderly that couldn't get out the house and stuff like that. I was doing that because there were so many people that were petrified of getting sick. So I just did it because I knew that it needed to be done. Fortunately, I'm one of the few that haven't ever got sick. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen in the future, but like I was dealing with people that were sick, and I do have some questions about that. Like, is there some people that just aren't going to catch it? I wonder about that because I was around so many people that were sick. I don't know. Maybe it's the Lord.
I have a question for the panel. If somebody wants to leave this earth, is it okay to go out on your own terms? Meaning, if it requires help, so be it.
I
That's a
think
tough
so.
one,
Yeah,
Diego.
but
That's a tough
usually
one.
it's sort of like abnormal to just say, "Oh, I feel really shitty today. I'm just going to check out," without even getting like seen by like maybe a therapist or a friend to talk it out with, because maybe I didn't sleep good or something. Maybe I'm had just like a really bad day, and maybe it's just something that would pass with that feeling, you know but yeah, I don't think that people should go to the extreme and blow their brains out so that then their family has to clean it up and become traumatized from something like that. And definitely I've seen like people who, like, I've taken care of someone in hospice before, like in the private home, and they were begging. I was alone by myself. I would had to wait until like their family came home, or like until I had to switch shift with someone else, and they would be like begging me for a gun, and I wasn't even allowed to give them more
No.
medicine for pain.
Yeah.
I was limited to how much, like morphine, and I forget what the medicine was that I was able to give them. But yeah, like, and then the son would get upset with me if I gave him like any, because he wanted his dad to just like tough it out and like survive, and like get over this, but it was cancer. It was just so much he could do, so much he could handle. And like, after seeing something like that, I don't think that people should have to be forced to suffer in pain like that if they're not being even allowed to get comfort care. It's called comfort care.
My mother was in hospice in 2017 after having stage 4 cancer, going through radiation. She developed pneumonia, and it filled one of her lungs up. The other one is almost 3/4 full. And my brother and I were asked, what do you guys want to do about her? And I said, well, what can be done? And they told me that she could go in the hospice. And I said, that sounds fine to me. And the reason why I said that is because if she's going to go, she's going to go on her own. I didn't want her going without being, I didn't want her to suffer, with what she's going through at that time. She couldn't breathe on her own anyway. So the only thought I had in my head was, she's lived a good quality life. She shouldn't die miserable. So yeah, I do believe in hospice.
Yeah, for sure. Just so you guys know, 15-minute warning. I'm going to shut down because I do have to get some sleep here soon.
We don't need no snore stream, do we?
No, that's right.
Nothing against you, Robert, but it was pretty interesting if you read the chat afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Alice has been one that has had that happen to her before.
Yeah, Jesse, what was it? Jesse Peterson, Jordan Peterson. Like, listening to his lecture, I just dialed out.
I don't think many people who have run long panels haven't had that happen from time to time, especially when you got a lot of people talking. But hey, it is what it is. But
we know that you got a condition, so it's okay, Robert.
it doesn't bother me a bit. Absolutely not.
I was like, he's sleeping good. Just leave him alone. The beer is in the cave.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing that I would add to that, though, Latina, with like Canada, and the problem I have is they did one assisted one up there, where the only problem with this woman wasn't her health; it was the fact that she couldn't pay her bills, and it was depression. And I'm sorry, that to me is absolutely disgusting. That they're, instead of helping a person, which is what they should be doing, they'll allow something like that, and that just, to me, there's no medical reason in the world for that, other than the person's depressed. And if that becomes a standard where depression is an excuse for that, wow.
I have something
We're gonna have a lot of dead people.
Yeah.
That I want to read to you when I find it. But before I do, Chaplain, what I noticed when I was working in the nursing home is that a lot of the people there did seem like, like down a lot of times. But what would really surprise me, what really surprised me was when a baby or little children would come in and visit like a friend or their grandparents, like a lot of them that seemed like they weren't even awake would like come to life, like little kids and like children and just people in general coming to visit them is like magic. And it was so beautiful to see that happen. And yeah, there used to be,
Absolutely.
and Anna said that there used to be candy stripers. We had a few candy stripers, but not hardly any. It's like they're not promoting it for children. I mean, for teenagers to go and do that anymore. It's like they like keeping people out. And like with my kids, my oldest kid's grandpa, he didn't get a warning to leave his home before the flood breached the creek. And like my friend too, she had to leave her home before the flood was before it like got really bad. And it's like I wonder, like, so they're not promoting candy stripers, they're not even knocking on doors to get people out of their homes. It's like they want these natural disasters to happen so that they can get FEMA money. It's like a scam almost. I'm not sure how that
It is
works,
a
but
scam.
I'm wondering if that has to do with money.
Well,
It's all
absolutely.
about money. It's all about money. The truth of the matter is that we've got away from humanity care. Okay, when you talk about humanity care, it's like they're just a number now. It's kind of like the court system. You're not a person, you're just a number on a docket. It's really sad how our society has got this way. It's like there's no humanity in the care or the consideration of people. It's all about money. When That's the sad part. The reason that the old people light up when they see children is because they see the future, and children, like, that's why children are important, like to keep having children and keeping children, just bringing children in the world, because children remind us of the things that we forget as we get older. Like if you pay attention to a child when it's learning something and the way they light up, it's just amazing. And the children light up the old people because they see life right in front of them, and it's so innocent. That's why we have to protect the children. The way they've been going after the children the last 10, 15 years with the school system, it's really disheartening.
Yeah,
Um,
Alex, sorry to cut you off. Like Anna said that, like the state's got millions of dollars, but like where did the money really go? I tried to get help for my um kids' grandparents. Um, and it was like it took forever. I don't I have to still call and ask if he ever got a call back from the Red Cross. And the only people who were really getting help is if they went and stayed in like the fairgrounds is where they held the people who couldn't go back to their homes. But of course, like, grandpa had a place to go with a family member. We weren't, and then my friend, she went to go stay with her stepmom. She was not going to go stay into the fairgrounds because she was worried about like something bad happening to her, like her little boys, her children getting lost or kidnapped or something getting stolen. But like those people were able to get clothes and like a place to stay and food and showers and stuff. But everyone else who like had somewhere else to go, like, they weren't like able to like maybe get anything, like my friend and like grandpa. He was so scared that he left home without even any clothes, extra clothes, and his son forgot his medicine, because they were just so freaked out because the water was so high in their house.
well, the reason they're doing that is so that people won't reach the family anymore and will reach to the state. If you listen to what you just said, that they helped the people that didn't have family. So it's like that's another way that the state is replacing the family. Um, they they're willing to help ones. They're trying to replace the family, lad.
Yeah.
Um,
See, like I've seen like FEMA what's it called? RVs drive by, like in the morning, like on the way to take my son to school. You know, really, they have like the state of the art everything. And it's like so hard just for the average person to see, because grandpa is like almost 80 and he has cancer and he doesn't speak very good English. So it's like, how does somebody who's like messed up like that and needs help supposed to figure out everything on their own? You know, I assumed that he was being helped by his other son. And I did try to call him, and my daughter tried to call him, but we assumed that because he wasn't answering, that he was asleep or had already left his house, you know. But he did say that not to blame ourselves, because like I did feel really bad, like that I didn't try harder, you know.
Well, you just take this situation and try to learn from it, and whatever you've learned, regardless if it's good or bad, it gives you a better understanding of what to do next time. And all our failures we learn. Um, Even if it's something bad, we learn. So next time, you won't assume. You'll just do due diligence and be like, "Hey, do you got this?" So you learn something from it, Latin.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
beat yourself up about it. It's just, what do you do in a situation like you were just in? What, like you're panicking because there's a flood, you know, and everybody's being displaced, and just don't beat yourself up about it. Write down what went wrong, and try to figure out what you can do to prevent that next time, and
yeah.
it'll help you build a better like safety plan with the family.
Yeah, and Chaplain, I really think that I had a prompting. Like I kept like feeling like an urge to, like I drove by Grandpa's house and I was like trying to get my son to go and see Grandpa, but my son was like, "Oh, I'm tired," and I kept saying, "No, no, you should here. I'm right here in front of Grandpa's house. Get out and go see your grandpa." Like, I should have listened to myself, to my spirit, or whatever you want to call it. That I should have got out and gone see and seen him.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, you know, Grandpa may be here one day and he may be gone tomorrow. So you don't want to waste what time you could have had with him. So you don't want to, you know, just say, well, I'll see him next time. He might not be here. This is why I tell my kids all the time, you better treat me good while I'm alive, because tomorrow I might not be here.
Right.
So this is what I remind them of all the time. Not that I constantly do it, but to let them know that, hey, look, you know, I'm here now. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, we're all just passing through though. It's
Yep.
just nice when we cross paths and we can make it a good situation. But yeah, once they're gone, they're gone. That's why I tried to spend as much time with my grandpa before he did leave. I'm glad that I did, because I have things that I can pass along to the kids, and we learn so much from the elders. Like, we don't realize how important it is until they're gone. So yeah, if you got elders in your family, spend as much time as you can with them. That's why I'm glad that I'm home with my dad. Like, the kids are, my dad, he's in his 70s, so he's not going to always be around, even though in his head he thinks he's going to live like till he's 150. But come on, Dad. You know, I'm just glad that I'm able to like be home and the kids can spend time with Grandpa. And when they get older, they'll, you know, Grandpa, they'll have those memories. Because once we're gone, man. The only
Hey,
thing that we leave behind is our memories in people's hearts.
yep. And even young people aren't promised tomorrow. I found that
Yeah.
thing I wanted to read to you guys. It's really short. Okay. It says, as Michael Rivero, the host of the What Really Happened radio show, once said, Most people prefer to believe their leaders are just and fair, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, because once a citizen acknowledges that the government under which they live is lying and corrupt, the citizen has to choose what he or she will do about it. To take action in the face of a corrupt government entails risk of harm to life and loved ones. To choose to do nothing is to surrender one's self-image of standing for principles. Most people do not have the courage to face that choice. Hence, most propaganda is not designed to fool the critical thinker, but only to give moral cowards an excuse to not think at all. And that is from
Absolutely.
that is from
Well
Oh, amen to that.
well said.
the book is called Confessions of an Illuminati, Volume 7 by Leo Zagami. Zagami or something like that. Zagami.
Could you post that link, Latina?
Oh, I would. It's on Discord. It was just
Oh.
somebody posted it. I can send you the picture. Okay, Robert.
Yeah, certainly. I would love to have that quote.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it to you. Thanks,
And
guys.
nothing is what it seems. And even when it seems, question.
Yeah, the thing that really popped out for me is that people are not standing up for their principles, like they're letting go of principles or they don't have any principles. And the reason why I kept asking everybody the other night if they've seen Zoolander is because Trump was in that movie with Melania. And before they showed Melania and Trump, they were like these wicked, evil tyrants that were planning and plotting to do something. We're like, we need an idiot. We need someone who's really dumb. And then they were like, how about Fabio? And then they were like, well, he's not dumb enough. So then that's when they started to notice Zoolander, how really just dim-witted he was. I didn't see the rest of the movie. I need to watch the rest, but
It's predictive programming. They put everything in plain sight, so we don't, like, when things do take place, we don't question it. And if we do question it, it's always going to seem like a movie because, like, I was looking at Animal Farm, right? Do you realize that our government funded that movie to be put out? And it's all about, like, altering our thinking. Most people don't realize that even our government owns Hollywood. They fund Hollywood. So a lot of the stuff we're seeing, it might seem like just so far-fetched, but it's predictive programming. It's to put that ideal in our head. So we'll question our own reality. If you think about it.
Latina, the best part of that quote was the fact that most people are cowards.
Yes.
Absolutely true.
well, I was working for a lady, and she's very leftist. I mean, not leftist. Well, she's just on the left. And when I tried to reason with her, there's no reasoning with her because all she cared about, her reasons for sticking with what she believes in is because she's scared and she doesn't care, and all she cares about is she just wants to make sure she votes for whoever is going to guarantee her like welfare, because the propaganda was, oh, Trump's going to take this away from you and that away from you, and you're not going to have you're going to become homeless, they're going to take your Section 8 away, they're going to take your Social Security away, they're going to decrease your benefits.
Well, they're doing that right now with the Republicans. They're trying to, like, there was one of the Republicans, he stood up because he's, like, on the Republican side, and they're trying to say that the Republicans are trying to get rid of Social Security when that's not what it is. It's the fact that we have so much spending and we don't have enough people, younger generations, working and putting into the system anymore. So, like, in 10 years, they predict that Social Security will be completely depleted. And it's because we're spending money where money doesn't need to go. And it's just the spending has got outrageous, and it's going to destroy the Social Security system. So they say in about 10 years, there will be no Social Security because they've been
Yeah,
dipping into it.
yeah, that's exactly correct. Um, uh, no doubt. 10 years, maybe 15, and there won't be any more money left. So something has to happen.
Well, the reason they're blaming the Republicans is they want to exclude the fact that they have been overspending. Okay. So they
Right.
have to have somebody to blame. So they're deflecting from the reality. We have a real situation going on. And see, he brought up the fact that I think it was Bush wanted to implement where you could take some of your Social Security and put it in an IRA, right? And then the situation wouldn't be where it's at because you were taking a percentage of what you were putting into the system and putting it into an IRA, which builds up more increase because of the interest that it builds. Okay. So if you are young, the best thing to do is build it through something like that just to have a retirement fund, because it's like if we're looking at in 10 years, I'm 37, so I'll be 47. And by the time 10 years, all these people have put into the Social Security system, there's nothing going to be there.
That's
Um,
true.
So we have to do our due diligence and stop leaning on the government. The
Well,
people that freak out about these programs getting cut are the ones that haven't made a plan. And they've got
the other thing you have
complacent.
to look at is this. That is the reason why they want to go to a digital currency, because they're going to try to implement a jubilee just like they did during the last depression. Except it isn't going to be for the people; it's going to be for the banks and the like people, the central bankers and the Federal Reserves and things like that, because they've devalued the money so far, and the fact that, like with the governments, they all overspend. They spend far more than they ever should have, and that's what's going to happen. No
Yeah,
problem. You take care.
so that's why it's important regular people start actually talking about the solution to the problem. We can point out the problems all we want, but what is the solution? And that's do your own due diligence.
Oh, for
Make sure
sure.
that you're straight, and your family straight, because we're not going to be able to depend on the government. They give this false security that we can depend on the government, but the ones that survived the depression were the ones that were due diligent and made sure that they were fine. The difference between that depression and this is people don't even know how to grow their own food anymore. People
Oh,
don't even know
absolutely.
how food is grown. Like if you go to
Right,
some of
all
these
the time.
colleges, these kids think that the food just appears at the grocery store. That's pretty sad that we got kids that don't even know the process of growing stuff. And during the Depression, there was a lot more people that had their own family farms and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's why they survived. So it's like, as much as we want to innovate and get towards technology, there's some things that we're just going to have to hold on to. And at the end of the day, if
Well,
everything just cuts off, it's going to be, can you survive? And how do you?
if it gets to that point, I hate to say it, but it's going to be a disaster like nobody's ever seen before.
That's true.
It will definitely be of biblical proportions. No pun intended, Chaplain.
None taken, because you're probably right.
The idea, though, that they're doing is, and that's why they're destroying the economy of the United States, because for them to be able to implement this whole digital idea of everything, including currency, the meaning of wealth becomes a moot point, because you will literally no longer have control of what you have. There will never be a bank run because there'd be nothing to take out of the bank.
Nope,
You will
you
not
don't-
be able to hold any type of value, albeit if you're holding cash, which I do suggest people do have a certain amount of cash at hand always. But if you're holding cash in a bank right now, you're a fool. It literally is losing money by the day. Just not through lack of being paid any kind of interest by the bank, but just inflation.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why trades are important. Like having trades. Trades are worth more than actual money if you think about it. Because if we got to that point, like the thing I see wrong with it going completely digital is when we had an ice storm in Georgia, right? The only thing that operated was the things that weren't hooked up to the power system. So if they wanted to crash it and we were completely on digital, right? We'd be screwed.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
feel-
yeah,
like
and to add another wrinkle to that, being somebody from a different country, whatever happens to the U.S. happens in Mexico. Oh, a month, 2 months later.
Yeah, and the implementation of this, obviously, it's apparent to anybody that's paying attention that what's going on is global. I mean,
Yes.
you have all the same things happening in all these different countries, and they're using the whole pandemic thing to ram things through.
That's
That
right.
if you really thought about it with a little bit of logic and common sense, that you wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But people nowadays are addicted to plastic. They don't. Well, why should I have cash? I have my credit card. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see the whole world, turn ass side up, and you stop at a farmer's market and buy something with plastic when they don't have a credit card machine, or you need water, and as you said, they don't have power or anything. What becomes your currency of trade? That's the whole idea behind money is exchange as trade, uh, in not just labor value, but goods value as well. So when it becomes digital and you don't have access to that, that not only stops the person who has a need, it also stops the person who has the resource.
well,
That
it's
isn't.
kind of like you look at Germany. They went that a lot of they got off the nuclear power plants, right? I
Yeah,
found
what's the
something from
dumbest thing they
what was
could
it?
have done?
Yeah, I found something in 2014 where they were promoting the going green and getting off the nuclear power grid, and then you flash forward to now, they had a storm, a snowstorm, and the snow completely covered the solar panels, and the power went out. Okay, so it's like a lot of this stuff. It's as years go by, we're finding like that if we go completely onto a digital system or completely solar powered system, they're not taking in consideration of storms and stuff like that. So then it's a whole hot mess. But yeah, the money is a trade for products, but the money it lost its value a long time ago once they
Well,
put in the credit system.
well, it isn't just a credit system. It's the fact that we have a fiat currency that's debt based, and people don't understand that. Plus, it's a fractional reserve, and people don't understand that either. And that, truthfully, is nothing more than a backdoor tax, because the government gets to print money hand over fist, and people think that hey, the government's raining money down us. What they don't understand is, as they're doing it, they're devaluing the currency. So they're actually lowering people's ability to purchase. They're lowering people's wealth. They're lowering people's wages, real wealth rate wages when you do comparatives. And people
Yeah, the
don't see
buying
it.
power.
They don't understand it. Yeah, the purchasing power. And they don't understand it. And then when you talk about lending on top of it, that helps push the inflation, because instead of having 10 people buying for the same thing, you now have 100. Based off on what? A pie in the sky fallacy. Every loan a bank gives out, they're creating money out of thin air. And they painted that as it's such a great thing, and it's not.
Well, and there's the rub. Really, what you have is already a digital currency, because the banks create loans out of nothing.
Absolutely. But see,
Well,
once
if you
they
look
have
at the
an actual
numbers,
issue,
if you look at the numbers on your money, it's just a number. It's not actual money. Like, they can mess with the numbers in your account and make it seem like just by a glitch, okay? Because it's a numbers game. It's not a actual visible thing. Like a thing that we can touch. It's a
Well, but
digital
see,
thing. Like
that's
all
what they
our stuff
want to
is
take away.
digitized. Huh?
What they want to take away is the ability for you to be able to touch what you consider value in being your money. Once it's all pure digital, you'll never hear of things such as a bank run, because it's impossible. So if the economy turns the wrong side up, if they don't like your politics, look what they did to the truckers in Canada, freezing their bank accounts, freezing their assets, and all that thing. Be damned if they have kids to feed or bills to pay, but just because they don't like their political ideology, they freeze all their ability to have commerce in this world. Now put a digital currency on that, and perfect. You can't even take donations from people.
Yeah, because they messed with that. Remember when they went after the donators?
Yeah,
Which was insane.
and that's what I'm saying is you wouldn't even be able to get donations from people, because if they donate in the digital, they track it right away. Boom, they shut them down too. So nobody's going to be willing to risk their own health and safety for another whom they've locked out of the system that they may deem not compliant with the system. Becomes very easy for them to do that then.
It's always a pleasure talking with you, Robert, and your panel. It's good to hear critical thinkers out there, and that common sense is still alive. I just have to say that, because it's like I follow a lot of content, and I like the conversations we have. It gets my little brain ticking, and it's just refreshing, man. Especially in this world we live in. A lot of people are like, it's just wild. Like, you're actually talking about the real things that's going on, and I'm glad that I ran into your channel, and it's been a pleasure.
Sure, Alice. It's always a pleasure to have you on here.
Alice, I'm not so sure. I know what common sense is.
It's something you can't buy. It's naturally grown in the mind.
I guess it's something that comes with age. Maybe, I don't know.
You know what? You're not far wrong.
Yeah, you're not. I tell you truthfully, I don't think I really would consider myself mature until I was about 45. And even then, in my 50s now, I view even myself back then as being a little immature about a few things. It's amazing how, as time passes by and the more, shall I say, experience and life experience, not just, building, not a skills thing, but just living in society, teaches you. Things that you thought to be true, you find to be fallacies, and then the fallacies you find to be truths. When the saying is, with age comes wisdom, there is some truth to that. Not with all. I've met some very wise young people. I've met some very dumb old people. But yeah, and then there's people like Diego and the classifications of themselves.
Amazing.
So Alice, it is good that even a person at your age is already looking at these issues, and with a critical mind, and with looking at the sides that they are. I was doing the same thing when I was younger, but we didn't have the access to media as we do now at that age for me. So it really wasn't in practice, but it definitely is going to become a thing in the future for sure. Go ahead, Diego. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't so much the access to media. I think it literally was, well, the lack of access to experience.
Yeah, that could be very well.
Well, I think with this, like with my age group and everything, I think it is a good thing that we're able to get the stuff, but we have to do it with a moderation, because we can be pulled to one situation or to the next because there is an overflow. Okay. When you had limited, it was like, okay, you had time to really absorb it. Okay. But now it's at warp speed. It's like coming so fast. It's like it's hard to break it down as fast as it comes in. Okay. So it's like, yeah, it has its benefits, but it also has its flaws, because if you got too much coming in at one time, you can get disillusioned. Like it's like it's
sure.
overwhelming.
Oh,
So
it's not just being disillusioned. I think the key is you really have to separate good information from bad information, and that can be the toughest of tasks. I mean,
yeah,
seriously.
that's what I've been finding, because there's so much information. It's slowing it down and breaking it down. That's the hard part, because it's like it takes you so many different directions, because there's so many point of views out there. So it's like that's where the critical thinking must take place, and the slowing down, because it's so fast.
So let me ask you this, Alice. Do you think it's a worse situation now because you have so much information, or would you have preferred to have, a limited amount?
Very limited.
I think finding the median is important. Like being able to sit back as it's flowing and being able to break it down. Because it's moving so fast, the problem it's causing is confusion. Okay. Like if we look at our media, what I'm finding is they go to the most emotional part first and not the critical part. Like that's what pisses me off about the media when they're putting out stuff. It's like they're not giving us the full context, because it's all about getting the views, getting the story out there, and they're not giving the people the opportunity to actually get the full context. And by the time we do get the context, people are so absorbing their emotions that it's confusing them to break down and actually critical think about it, because they attached the first thing, which was your emotions, not your logic. As far as limited and a large amount, yeah, it's good to have the access, but where is the access taking you is the question. is it going to lead you to actually learning something, or is it just going to make you even more confused because we got so much? So therefore, it can cause you to go in so many directions.
I guess the key to that is finding the people that you trust, and sticking to that. I mean, obviously, nobody believes mainstream media, but as far as the access is concerned, just find like 2 or 3 people where you go, okay, you know what? I think I believe what they're saying, and stick to it. Anything else is just confusing.
Yeah, that's why it's important, like, to actually sit back and listen to what is being presented to you and not just jumping on board with it. Like, we have to always think about that. Like, there's so much stuff that's going to be put out, and it's to attract our emotions is main thing, because that's why we have the like button, that's why we have the share button, we have all these buttons we can push, but are we thinking before we push them is the question. And we've got into, like, with the media, it's a reactionary thing, so it's cutting off the critical thinking. It's focusing more on your emotions than you actually paying attention. They don't want you to pay attention, because if you pay attention, you might catch something. So yeah, you have to find people that you trust and that are steady with their message, and then you can make a sound decision. Like, you can't just follow anybody. If you do, where are you going? Where is this leading me? You know, just
Well,
asking the
the,
questions.
the thing of it is, media nowadays, or what would be considered news, quote unquote, isn't news anymore. It's infotainment. Back when 60 Minutes, when I was young, used to be 60 Minutes, it was a very dry, drab question answer thing. But for me, listening to that, you gained information and knowledge. Nowadays, most people don't want that. If you can't fit it in a minute and a half or 150 words or less, people ignore it. They've become so accustomed to instant that they don't understand that sometimes understanding isn't instant, nor will it ever be.
Yeah, it's a process.
Absolutely.
They want to
It's a
cut corners on the process, Robert. It's like they don't want us processing. They want us to think what they want us to think. They trying to cut out critical thinking completely. They want us reactionary. Like, if you look at what just happened, they put out the worst part of the video with that police situation. They didn't show
Right.
us the dash video that led up to it. There's a lot of stuff that they left out, and it was just to get a reaction out of the public. And you see what happens. They get into the streets, and they don't even realize that justice has a process. Its due process takes time, and they want to speed that process up. And then there's going to be situations, if we speed up something that is working and has worked, what's going to happen is something's going to get missed, and
Well, there's
somebody
also
might
the
be.
fact that ideology has overruled common sense. I mean, the whole Tyree Nichols thing is, it's already being bandied off as, well, that was because of racism. Well, wait a minute here. How they came to that conclusion is beyond me, considering all the police officers involved were black.
Well, the
And
reason they
well,
came to that conclusion, the reason they came to that is because they have declared our whole system is white supremacy. If you pay attention to their ideology,
and
anything that was created
is
in America, white
yes,
supremacy,
and
which is
that is
insane.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, then there's the other thing, Robert, that 60 Minutes used to be
Yes,
hard questions.
correct.
They are no longer hard questions. They're all
No,
softball now.
yeah. Well, it's to promote a narrative or another ideology. It's the same thing that we have going on with the whole CRT thing or uh, any agenda that they want to push. You know, like men can be women and women can be men and this and that and all kinds of other bullshit. You know, like they're banning about this.
I'm sorry, Robert. Do you know what a woman is?
Absolutely, I sleep with one.
Good for you. And I do as well.
There you go.
And I
According to
am
Three
one.
Stooges,
So
according to Three Stooges, men are men and the women are glad of it.
Chaplain, this must have bothered you most of all when that piece came out from, I don't know what it was, the Senate? When somebody was asked what's a woman, and she said, "Oh, I'm not a biologist." What the
Yeah.
heck?
Well, that was Ketanji Brown.
well, it's because of the education system. Like, I was looking at this one liberal arts college, like when I was going down the rabbit hole of the womanists, right? And what I'm finding is they hate any structure that they can't control. So if we look at where these people's ideals are, it's about dismantling to remantle to what they feel. It's more about feeling based, not fact based. Like you'll hear people say, well, this is my truth.
Yeah,
And
but
it's not my truth, it's their experience and how they feel about it, which excludes factual evidence. So
see
when
that
we think
therein
about
lies
why
the
that
role.
woman said that,
Therein lies the rub. Facts hurt feelings sometimes, and they don't like
yeah,
that.
and they don't like that.
They don't
Like
like
that's
truth.
why the womanist movement even began, because the women tried to go to a man's area, right? Like when I went down the rabbit hole, I went to the beginning and where it is now, which they're in their third wave. But it all started when the women went to a man space and were told no. So that enraged them, and that goes back to the very beginning where women have always wanted to be over men. And the fact of the matter is there is a separation that needs to be with men's spaces and women's spaces, and that's just to keep the sanity, because there's some things women will not understand about men and there's some things men won't understand about women, but there's nothing wrong with that. And
So
there's
let
nothing,
me ask you this, Alice. Are you okay with being a woman?
yeah, I've been a woman for 37 years.
Okay. No, that I guess I no. Let me rephrase. I guess. Are you okay with men having? I don't know how to say this.
Objection, context.
Well, I'm not being chauvinistic here. This is not my point. Are you okay with men holding certain positions that women at the majority won't hold?
Yes, because I understand that certain things women just cannot do physically. The ones that want to push women into sections that are not natural are women that are delusional. Okay, there's a place for everything, and they don't want to follow, what is it, the natural order. Like
Wait a minute.
when
You're
I
talking
was
about
growing up.
traditional things here. Look out.
What?
You're talking about traditional things. Look out.
Oh yeah, that's I'm treading on that.
Watch
That's
out
the
for
whole
that.
misogynist thing.
But it's like when okay, my dad would let me try to do some men's jobs, right? And I had to accept the fact that I wasn't physically capable of it. He allowed me to try, but it's because of these women that haven't tried. They want to be able to do whatever without actually doing it. I think I'm okay with the fact that men are in certain areas for a reason because I understand the process. There's a structure in everything. And when the structure works, why mess with it? It's just like men in the military that the truth of the matter is y'all were built physically capable of doing it. Women aren't physically capable of doing it, and there's women that just can't accept that reality. So they push their feelings to overstep the facts.
I don't think it's a physical thing. Um, do you follow Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you know what I'm talking about. He's put out many videos on this, and he's absolutely right. There are tendencies. Men are doing certain things, and women tend to do certain other things. I mean, the opportunities are there for everybody, but the outcome, there's no guarantee.
Well, I think it's more if we look at biology, since you brought up the lady says she's not a biologist. If you look at biology, it's just the reality is real. We were built completely different. Like our strength levels and where our strength is located at are real. As far as it does think about physical, okay? A woman my size, 4'8", 100 pounds. There is no way I can carry another man across the battlefield. Okay? There's no way I can lift the things a man can do. There's just no way. So we have to realize it's more than tendencies. There is a actual physical reality, and the reality is men were built to protect and provide, and that's because
No,
of their
you're
biology.
missing the point. You're missing I'm sorry. You're missing my point,
Okay.
not the point. But you're missing my point. It's not about the physical structure. Women have a tendency to do certain jobs, and men have a tendency to do certain other jobs, and that's just the way it is. And there are some crossovers every now and again, but they're few and far between. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
Yeah. This percentage is very small.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
very
look,
small.
women tend to be nurses. Look, I hate to put it like this because it really it pisses me off that I have to put somebody in a basket. But women tend to be nurses, men tend to be engineers. That's
The
just the
reason for
thing.
that is the natural state of woman is to caretake.
Right.
Goes back to our
Yes,
biology.
yes, and that is what Jordan Peterson has talked about again and again and again. He's absolutely right.
Yes, because it goes back to our biology. It's the way we're wired, man. And people do not want to accept that. It's like their feelings get in the way.
You just
Okay.
solved one problem right there.
Yep.
Right there. That's it. The
And,
difference between a man and a
anyway-
woman is how they're built.
Folks, my 15 minutes has already turned into another hour.
Okay,
We're
well,
having too much
it's
fun
always
here,
good
Robert.
to talk with
Yeah,
y'all.
I hate to shut the panel down because it's such a good panel, but I do have to get some sleep because I do have to work in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta do some stuff too. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I need to get some sleep too. I'm
I
getting
will, I
tired.
will tell everybody thank you very much, Diego. Thanks for being on, Chaplain, Alice. As always,
course.
great to have you on. Everybody in the chat that's left in the chat anyway. Thanks for being here, and I appreciate the support. I'm hoping we didn't bore the ever living shit out of you.
So,
well,
Alice, you're only 4'8", huh?
Yeah.
Robert, pleasure
Robert,
Pleasure's
Robert,
Robert's
always-
twice about my height,
Alice.
so
My wife
Alice,
is 4'7".
great to talk to you.
it's good to meet you and Chaplain too. It's always a pleasure to meet new people that are using that old ticker up there.
Yeah,
But
by
yeah.
the way,
Yeah,
my wife is
and
only
mine
4'7".
is an old ticker.
That's
What'd you
right.
say, Chaplain?
I said my wife is only 4'7", so you could practically say eye to eye.
Yeah, I'd have an eye-to-eye conversation. That'd be nice, and it's not a 10-year-old.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, all right. I'll to see y'all later. Y'all remember like, share, and subscribe to Lead Guardsman, man. Guitarman. I always get that messed up, man.
Yes,
I'm
you do
sorry.
and still do.
Yeah, I'll get it one day.
That's
But
all
y'all
right.
have a good night.
Check me out at
Take care.
Chaplain Jethro's Corner, #1 at Outlook.com.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care, Chaplain.
You too.
Oh.
See you later, Diego. Good talking to you, brother.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
And everybody in the chat, we are out of here in 3, 2, 1.